inappropriate conduct were filed last night. That brings the total number filed against Watson to 19. He has publicly denied any wrongdoing. The spotlight in the men's NCAA tournament on the Elite Eight tonight begins with Houston and Oregon State clashing in the first game with one Final Four spot up for grabs. Then it's Baylor taking on Arkansas for another Final Four spot. The Razorbacks need a certain game plan to have a chance against that tough Bears defense, notes ESPN's Seth Greenberg.
Once they move the ball and move the defense by cutting and getting the ball reversed, then they can attack. One thing I worry about with Arkansas, they get a little caught up in one-on-one basketball. They can't get it caught up in the one-on-one battles. What they got to do is collectively attack this Baylor defense, get the ball reversed, move the ball, move people, then attack.
NBA Nets tonight welcome back guard Kyrie Irving against the Timberwolves. He's been out the last 3 games dealing with a family matter. Forward Kevin Durant, meantime, still out with that strained hamstring. He's likely out the rest of this week as well.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
We got bugs in. Kuz, what's going on, man? Hey.
Are you all right?
No, there's flies in here. I don't know what's going on right now. Anyways, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. I'm Austin Lane. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Joined by Kuz, pushing all the right buttons. My co-host, Brent Martineau, will be here in a second. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb right now, everybody. I'm gonna put my sports reporting hat on here and my reputation, go out on a limb and say I think Trevor Lawrence is coming to Jacksonville. Okay? If you listen to the Peter King interview with Urban Meyer, and by the way, we have the audio. We're going to play it throughout the show. Oh, is that a Trevor Lawrence alert?
Oh, no, that was like a needed dress alert.
Draft needed dress alert? Absolutely. And we're going to have more of that. There's more of that came from later on in the show here when we do Shock Your Mock, obviously. It's kind of becoming a daily thing now. So we got Shock Your Mock later today. But I love social media. And I love Jag's Twitter. And, I love the passion that comes from the fan base. And I love the passion that comes from the fan base when Peter King essentially asks Urban Meyer, hey, Trevor Lawrence, is he coming to town? Is he coming to Jacksonville? Is he coming to Duval? And obviously Urban Meyer, doesn't show his hand per se, but he goes ahead and says, it's looking like that. We're gonna go in that direction. He didn't come out and say we're drafting Trevor Lawrence, but let's be honest, okay? This guy stood 3 feet away from him during his pro day. This guy chose to go to Sawgrass instead of going to see Zach Wilson's pro day. Yeah, I'd say Trevor Lawrence is coming to town here, but I get it. Sometimes a fan base that's used to suffering and rough seasons and bad optics, you need every ounce of reassurance that you can get. And this Peter King interview with Urban Meyer, it's just another 12-ounce just bottle of goodness that says, hey, we're getting Trevor Lawrence. Of course we know it, but sometimes we need the reassurance.
Yeah, I like a little reassurance.
Yeah.
That is a foregone conclusion. I'm glad we're not wrong by cementing this for the last 4 months.
I mean, I feel like when Urban Meyer came to the Jaguars, it was nothing. It was all about a certainty. But hey, it's still fun to talk about.
There are 2 things that are interesting to me about the NFL, and you wonder how the NFL feels about it. One is Urban Meyer kind of basically saying they're taking Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. I don't know how the NFL feels. I think they like a little drama involved and just keep people waiting. But people are tuning into the draft regardless, because number 2, there's a ton of drama. I don't know why the NFL would care that much. The second one is Trevor Lawrence not going to the NFL draft in Cleveland. I really thought they'd try to talk him into it potentially, and maybe they did. We just don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems kind of early. A lot of these stories come out maybe a week and a half before the draft. Mm-hmm. This is a month before the draft saying, hey, I'm not going to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting with Trevor Lawrence, the Jags, Urban Meyer. I don't think the NFL would have picked it this way. I'm not saying they're angry about it. I'm just saying I don't think they would have. They love it. I think they'd like Trevor Lawrence there, and I think they would like them to keep it quiet so we have at least some drama.
Yeah,
and at least make up some drama. And then you get the Chris Sims of the world or whoever else trying to say, no, they're trying to take Zach Wilson, or Mac Jones has a great pro day, or Justin Fields is a great pro. Oh, that Ohio State connection.
Sure.
I think they like that. I think there's part of the NFL they're aware of that stuff, any press is good press type of thing. So they're not getting it. Are you surprised at all Trevor Lawrence isn't going to the draft, or we already know that? And I guess the second part of that, are you surprised going to Clemson and not in his hometown of Cartersville, Georgia?
Am I surprised that he's not going to the draft? I'm not really surprised. And good for him. I mean, I'm sure that's probably rough from your part because you're going to go cover the draft and he's not going to be there. So that could be bad for.
Well, now I'm not.
Oh, you're not going to the draft anymore?
No.
No?
I don't. There's no reason to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, now I might be at Clemson.
What about the 25th pick?
Well, but the 25th pick is even harder for us. I mean, we can have a meeting about this right now if you want, folks.
Let's get it.
I mean, I wrestle with this. This is part of the coverage we wrestle with, but when Trevor Lawrence is going to not be there, part of the big thing about why we cover the draft, and, we've done it for years outside of last year. It's been more than a decade, I think, I've been to drafts now. And the day before is really good because you get the prospects. Like, we talked to Josh Allen 2 years ago at the draft in Tennessee, not knowing that he would be a Jacksonville Jaguar, but he ends up being a Jacksonville Jaguar.
Yeah.
And so when you kind of meet him after the draft, do a little interview with him right there for TV and for everything else, he kind of remembers you from the day before, and it's kind of like, oh, cool, we got this. It's getting off on the right foot with Josh Allen, and we got lucky. Now, there's also the chance that draft pick isn't there all the time, but I like the draft for the Wednesday, especially for that, be able to get all the prospects. And in this case, you could get maybe Kadarius Toney's there, maybe Kyle Pitts is there, Mac Jones there. So there's other reasons to go. I just think by the time the Jags pick at number 25, a lot of our TV stuff might even be done. They might not pick 25 until like 11:15 or whatever. It might be right during that time. So flipping it around on the TV side is going to be difficult. It'll be a next day thing anyway. So then what's the value of it? And let's be honest, the big story is certainly Trevor Lawrence. You don't know if the 25th pick's even going to be there. I think there'll be less prospects at the draft this year than in the past because I think they like the virtual stuff. I think the prospects like it, and I think the NFL didn't mind it. I think they want some folks there, but I don't think they need 35, 40 different prospects or 28 or whatever it was these last however many years in a row now. So I think that scene is really going to change. I just don't think now. I mean, I don't even know if we'll go up to Clemson. We'll see. Yeah. There's a chance. I mean, and again, the availability for Trevor Lawrence has been kind of slim, well, very slim so far.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if Trevor Lawrence gets picked, maybe does an ESPN NFL Network interview from his home and flies here and makes it to the draft party in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the case. It's like an hour and 15, hour and a half plane ride.
If the NFL wants anybody to go, it's the first pick of the draft in Trevor Lawrence. So, like, I'm sure they try to talk him into going. Obviously, has different plans. So I'm not really surprised, though, because to me, he doesn't seem like the guy that wants all the attention. Now, the attention's coming whether you like it or not.
True.
Right? Because your life's about to change forever, being the first pick of the draft and being the starting quarterback now of the Jacksonville Jaguars going forward. So your life's going to change. But I think he's ready for that moment. But I don't think he's going to concern himself with, the parties and stuff like that because he's just not that type of guy. He's been like that since his freshman year of college. So I'm not surprised he's not going to the draft. I guess I am maybe a little surprised that he's going to do like the party or the celebration at Clemson. But, obviously he has a special connection there.
Yeah,
and Clemson helped him out a lot. Got him a national championship and for most people kind of put him on the map. I get he was a big recruit out of high school and stuff like that, but I know Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. So maybe he's trying to get back to university a little bit, help, just say thank you by having the party there. And then, I agree with you. I think he's going to get drafted number 1, wave and hug everybody or, handshake. I don't know with the COVID, whatever. He's going to say thank you, everybody, and then he's coming to Jacksonville.
Well, I think it's interesting, the infrastructure I think Clemson has to do this kind of stuff. It's a little bit different in Cartersville. We went to Cartersville, and where do they do it? Like, how many people go? Is it this huge part? Well, you mentioned it, and I think you nailed it. And it's hard to explain this. I'm not saying every draft pick seeks attention. That's not what I'm saying. This is almost anticlimactic for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, he's been dealing with this stuff since like in 8th grade.
Sure.
He's kind of over it. Like it doesn't. It does. I wouldn't say it doesn't mean anything to him. My read on it is he doesn't need that to check the box of, well, what another great experience. The kid's already had a ton of experiences, and he's going to have a lot more in his view. And I just don't think he seeks that. Some players do seek that. But I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't say I'd be seeking that if I was Trevor Lawrence. I might just want to go to the draft and say, hey, that was a cool experience. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? And I just think he goes about it. And that's something I learned on that trip, man. I've been to Clemson a couple times now, been to Cartersville. And if you talk to the folks around there, this isn't surprising. The more I thought about it, the more I recollected some of those conversations, not surprising at all. He's just not the guy that says, I need to be here or there. He wants to just go play football. I think he wants his name called. I think he wants to get to Jacksonville. I think he wants to go hide out in the building. Yeah. And then just go on and play some football. So that's my read on him anyway. I mean, we don't even know him yet, haven't even talked to him yet. But the more you see, the more you read, the more you talk to people around him, I think that is the case. And I would say Clemson, just because of the infrastructure of it all, they'll want to talk to Dabo anyway. So maybe it's a little bit easier to handle control at Clemson than it is even in Cartersville, Georgia, where you got to make sure the guy at the grocery store that you went to high school with, you got to make sure he's there. And, you don't want to leave anybody out. It's just easier. Yep. It's kind of like having a small wedding instead of that big wedding. Yeah, because you don't want to leave anybody off the list.
True, very true. Yeah, it's a good point.
It is a bit interesting, but it's fascinating. Nonetheless, as we now are a month away. By the calendar, we're a month away. Yeah. March 29th. It's on April 29th. And now inside like that 4 or 5 weeks before the NFL draft hits. And this is becoming a reality. And I think that kind of punched it home with our Urban Meyer saying that to Peter King, being like, all right, listen, we know we can't fool you guys anymore. Yeah. I mean, this guy's coming here. But more and more intrigue now on that second overall pick with Jacksonville. More and more intrigue, in my opinion, on Mac Jones. I mean, the Mac Jones conversation did not turn down a notch at all in the last couple of days. In fact, it ramps up because he talked today. He'll have another pro day tomorrow where he'll throw. And now San Francisco is front and center. Although, Austin, we talked about this on Friday. I don't know if I believe it. I understand that's where all the smoke is. I still think Trey Lance is way involved in San Francisco, even though I guess there's a lot of dots that could connect Mac Jones.
There's dots, but once again, I have a hard time believing that the 49ers are going to give up 2 first-round draft picks in the future to get a guy who has a lot of the same skill set of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, if you were to compare Jimmy Garoppolo and Mac Jones right now, I think, they're pretty comparable. On the other side, like, if you're going to sacrifice that many draft picks and you're going to gamble on something, to me, you gamble on something that you don't have right now. You gamble on something that you want to go pursue. And to me, that's a dual threat quarterback to play in your offense that revolves around the quarterback, that revolves around jet sweeps and everything like that. So if that's the way we're going to go, which I think that's the way Shanahan's going to go, then you talk about Trey Lance or possibly Justin Fields.
Yeah, and I guess a topic I want to talk about today is I think Mac Jones is the most interesting player in the draft, and I've said that countless times over the last month. And I believe that, although now I'm starting to wonder, is it really Justin Fields? I read something today, maybe it was in Peter King's column while reading some of the Urban Meyer stuff, and it just struck me odd when it said, could be the 5th quarterback off the board is Justin Fields.
Yeah.
5th quarterback. Like, I think the verbiage he used was in the queue because there could be 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks. Mm-hmm. And because Trey Lance makes sense behind San Francisco or Atlanta because you can sit him, kind of like we've been saying, right? It kind of feels like the guy you can sit and not be pressured to play right away. I don't know if that's reality, but it feels that way. So if Justin Fields is 5th in the queue or 5th off the board, I mean, holy cow. I mean, does he become the interesting guy? Does Carolina stay away from him? Or Washington stay away from the Patriots stay away? Does he start sliding down? Because is there something we don't know about Justin Fields more than what we know about Justin Fields that has him going from potentially a second guy neck and neck with Trevor Lawrence, who, by the way, did outduel in the national semifinals. Yeah. And now sliding to like number 5 on the QB list here in this 2021 draft. I think that would be wild. As I saw that in print and I'm reading it, I'm like, Justin Fields, the 5th QB off? That just wouldn't have made sense 3 months ago.
Yeah. Is there something that we don't know about Justin Fields? That could be a possibility. And when I say that, does he struggle on the board? Does he struggle identifying defenses and defensive schemes? Because a quarterback's got to be able to do that a little bit. I've been very adamant about this. I just think teams are turned off from the bad of Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Because it was very, very bad. His bad was worse than Zach Wilson's bad, Trevor Lawrence's bad, Trey Lance's bad. Now, granted, different competition, say whatever you want to say. But the bad of Justin Fields was bad. Now,
Mac Jones didn't have a bad.
No, exactly. And there's very good of Justin Fields. On some of the biggest stages, there's good of Justin Fields. But I just think that bad it's so bad where it turns a lot of coaches off.
Yeah, so that's fascinating. We'll get more into that. I think the Mac Jones, Justin Fields, now Trey Lance talk is just interesting to me. And I also will say this, and I wonder if it will change it all. But the Zach Wilson, just like foregone conclusion at number 2, I'm still not sure I'm 100% in belief of that either. Like, I get it where it's coming from. I think the wow factor, and it's there is a wow factor with Wilson. And I like the kid. I really do. And the more and more, I mean, heck, you even look at the kid, he kind of looks a little bit New York, you know?
Sure.
Like, I think you can see him on those, on the Times Square billboards and stuff like that. I mean, it has a chance to hit the jackpot with Wilson. I get it. I would probably fall in love with the idea of that, too, if I'm a team or anybody analyzing this. So I do see that. Although I think you could make the case a guy like Fields or Mac Jones or somebody else might be a safer pick. And safer is not always wrong in the NFL draft, as we know, because it's such a boom and bust thing anyway, regardless of position, but especially at quarterback. So I'm not convinced. I don't know if I fully believe Zach Wilson's definitely going number 2, but it certainly looks more and more like that's going to be the case. So where these other guys do fall to, I think is really fascinating, and which one fits. And when you get Kyle Shanahan and you can make the case that a couple of guys fit his system,
Yeah.
And they're totally different quarterbacks, it feels like, right? I mean, all three of them, Lance, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, feel a lot different. And Shanahan probably could get them all to work, right? And I don't know if that's just such a good thing for Shanahan. That's a thing for the system. That's just today's modern-day QB. But that's pretty unique. I'm not sure that's the same case in Atlanta with the number 4th overall pick, that all 3 guys would fit there.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. I just think the way Shanahan does things with that run game, being very versatile, kind of a lot of smoke and mirrors, it's hard as a defense to try to stop everything. Usually something becomes open. And when you have a defense that's on their heels, looking in the backfield, well, where's the ball going to go? That opens things up for the quarterback. And all of a sudden, the quarterback's job is a lot easier. So, yeah, I think Shanahan in San Fran, he definitely coaches a very quarterback-friendly offense. But at the same time, I think he's still looking for that certain type of guy to put that offense over the top.
Yeah, and keep in mind now, Fields and Mac Jones will throw tomorrow. So, and they're kind of split up, and more of their eggs are in the Mac Jones basket in Tuscaloosa than are in Columbus, Ohio, whatever that means.
Sure.
I don't know if that means everything, but whatever that means will be interesting. The other, and another topic to get into today, we'll just brush it right here. You now have Joe Burrow. Mac Jones fits this mold. I think Zach Wilson fits this mold more than others. And not to say nobody's as experienced as Trevor Lawrence. But you're really taking one-year wonders and shoving them up draft boards.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
that's a little bit of a knock on everybody, including Mac Jones. I'm not saying he was never a good quarterback or any of this stuff. But the bottom line is, what we know of Mac Jones, the reason why people know Mac Jones and he's sliding is because of what he just did at Alabama. Zach Wilson was in like a quarterback contest a year ago at BYU, and boom, here he is. Joe Burrow had to leave Ohio State for Justin Fields, and boom, here he is with that 1 year at LSU. And by the way, it looks like he's going to be good. But Justin Herbert played a long time at Oregon, and now has showed that he's going to be pretty good. Trevor Lawrence played a long time and has long been viewed as this prospect. I think Justin Fields even feels a bit more seasoned to me, although it's not crazy seasoned, but it feels a bit more seasoned. We already take a risky proposition in the draft. You take a risky proposition with quarterbacks. And how dangerous is it with these guys, Burrow, Wilson, Jones, to just take this sample of 12, 13, 14 games and be like, that's the guy?
Yeah.
I think it's a dangerous thing for these teams. Again, you talk boom or bust, and you might get it just based off experience.
True. It's definitely a dangerous game. At the same time, why I don't think that the 49ers are going for Mac Jones, because you could essentially roll out Jimmy Garoppolo for one more year, and if you guys do bad, then you wait the next year for that quarterback, right? Because, like you just said, Mac Jones, Joe Burrow, these are two guys that came out of nowhere. Zach Wilson. We weren't talking about Zach Wilson or really even Mac Jones being a first-round pick before the college football season started. Like, they earned that right. So if you're San Fran, you can say, okay, well, we can stick with Jimmy Garoppolo one more year and then maybe find another Mac Jones or a Zach Wilson. Will you find another Trey Lance, though? Will you find another Justin Fields if they go that direction? Well, we're not sure about that because I still think there's more, traditional quarterbacks than there are game-breaking, dual threat kind of guys. So that's why I think that San Francisco is taking Trey Lance or Justin Fields, probably Trey Lance. We'll see. I mean, I'm back and forth on it just because those guys are a little more rare. No respect to Zach Wilson or Mac Jones, but they're a little more rare in terms of how they run with the football and what they can bring to the offense.
Yeah, it's going to be really, it's a fascinating draft. That's the thing. It's okay to tell the story of the Jags taking Trevor Lawrence -- 1 for the NFL because it's fascinating after that. Mm-hmm. The rest of the top 10, we've asked, what's the most fascinating player in the draft? Mac Jones, I just brought up, hey, Justin Fields might be taking the reins now because where's he going to go? What about the most fascinating team? Talk about that a little bit later on. There's a couple of options here. Most fascinating team in the first round of the draft. I think it's something to watch. When we come back, though, Urban Meyer did say quite a bit. What does some of it mean? Urban Meyer on Trevor Lawrence and more. When we come back, Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Happy Monday.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Much cooler today. It'll be partly to mostly cloudy with highs in the 60s at the beaches to the low 70s inland. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less. And we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful. But the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks or Us Training Helpline. Today we're explaining the term verified alarm to all you newbies out there.
Oh, boss, I can explain that. A verified alarm just means that whatever caused the security system alarm to go off has been verified.
Correct. And what alarm company is known for providing the fastest verified alarms?
SafeTouch Security.
Exactly. Because SafeTouch has the two-way communicator, which leads to alarm verification within seconds.
And alarm verification is very bad for us crooks.
Yeah, unlike a non-verified alarm that police label a low priority.
Like right below getting Grandma's cat out of a tree low.
So, to sum up, verified alarms. Just one more reason we crooks have the golden rule, stay away from SafeTouch houses. Remember that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, kitty.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
The Knicks, they still struggle to score a little bit. If you're a big-time player who wants to put on big-time numbers in a big-time city, I can see that happening.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Brent Martineau.
I'm not the guy that likes to, be over dramatic.
Austin Lane.
Well, you're almost in tears yesterday.
I was.
So.
Well, that was a little different.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Really not much has surprised me, other than the fact you just don't get to be around your players as much, And in college, you got 75 guys rolling through your facility every day, and professional sports, professional football, once that season's over, the next really mandatory thing is mandatory mini camp. And so I'm used to, one of my favorite things to do is go down to the weight room and hang out with the players when they're lifting weights. And we have 5, maybe 10. And, we got a lot more now. There's about 20 guys rolling around here, but nothing's mandatory. And just, I think a lot of people coach for a lot of reasons. Mine is relationship with players, and it's hard to get when I talk to them on the phone quite a bit. I have not had one team meeting. Peter, think about that. I've been the head coach since January, and we have not had a team meeting because we're not allowed. So that's the biggest adjustment.
That is Urban Meyer with Peter King. Spent about a half hour talking to Peter King. Also some quotes in his, what do they call it? Used to be Monday Morning Quarterback. It's like, what the heck is that thing called that he does now? He changed the name of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like NBC Sports, but Peter King does it. Albert Breer does it now for Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
And it's a good read. Mm-hmm. But a lot of quotes in there from Urban Meyer, an extended conversation.
You're referring to his Good Morning, Good Morning Football Morning in America.
Football Morning in America.
On profootballtalk.nbcsports.com.
Yes. Sorry for the awful promotion of that, Peter.
Yeah.
But there you go. Football Morning in America.
I got you, Peter.
They do a good job with it. And so, Urban spent some time with him talking. I think that part's interesting, right? 75 days on the job, and he hasn't had a team meeting.
Yeah.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah.
So Urban talking about some of the adjustments to the NFL world. He talked about it in free agency, how he hated that part of it, right? Couldn't really vet the guys out, couldn't get to get a relationship with those guys before bringing them in and see what kind of fit. And now this, where he'll end up spending plenty of time with the players, but this part is, I can't go down to the weight room and just hang out with these guys. You've got certain time. And now guys will pass through that building, but it's very intermittent, and they might run into the coach. They might not, depending on what the coach is doing. So the adjustments are happening. What I still love about Urban right now is the transparency of even the adjustments. Like, he's not afraid to be like, this part's different.
Sure.
That's kind of refreshing. I think I just had this expectation because I covered Urban at Florida. or from afar, from an hour and a half away. But again, they were very good at the time. So we spent a lot of time in Gainesville during that stretch. And it just was like Fort Knox, man. I mean, it was nothing coming out of there and hard to get in. And it just feels very refreshing all these years later to see it with the Jaguars in this position. I kind of just had that in my mind that I think he'll clamp up. He'll be like Saban. Sure. He'll be like Belichick.
Especially his first year.
Yeah, and it's just not. I mean, it's been really good. I'm not going to belabor it. We've talked about it enough. I mean, I think the fans are the big winner. This is not about me, the media guy. This is really the fans being the big winner, that every time something comes out, you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Or the Jaguars.com even puts out the hunt, right? And he's sitting down with them, and he's revealing the stuff from a meeting that he had or the draft meeting. I mean, those little peeks inside engage the fans, man. And I appreciate that from anybody who does it, really, in sports, because everything seems so clamped down. It's secretive. But I'm just a bit surprised that Urban's done it, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a smart thing.
I think it's a great thing. I think anytime you have a first-year coach who obviously is excited to get underway and, it's his first time in the NFL, but regardless of that, a first-time NFL coach, in a franchise that is in need of a turnaround, I think when you can add that fan engagement a little bit and take them on the journey with you, well, let's get the fans more excited, right? I think the last thing you wanted to see was a new coaching staff come in here and you have like the Bill Belichick effect. Now, eventually, if you start winning games, then nobody's going to care. But right now, where you sit, where you haven't won a lot of games the past couple years, and you're in need of some hope, well, yeah, Urban Meyer's at least providing some kind of optics to get you excited.
Yeah, I think obviously he keeps talking about the logo. He'll say Duval. He said Duval today in that Football Morning in America. He'll say the 904. Like, he's really trying to get the Jacksonville brand out there. This guy understands that. Like, he gets it. And it's part of it. I mean, it's part of it in Jacksonville. He's trying to be like, hey, we're not just stuck in this pocket. We're not this small market team. In fact, we're fast growing, and so is our brand. And I'm going to help that out. And he's embraced that part of it. I think when you're a professional athlete, sometimes you're a coach, you're asked to do stuff to help with the brand. I don't even get the sense that Urban's being asked to do this stuff to help the brand. I think he's the one saying, we need to do this stuff to help the brand. And I think because, again, he knows that you build that culture and people will want to stay, and then people will want to come. And then if you win, and to him, and this is going to sound bad, to him, in his coaching career, the winning is easy. The building it up is the hard part. The winning is, and the winning isn't easy. So I get that. But if you look at his record, he knows that if he builds it up, the winning's going to come.
Correct.
And when you have a record like he has, then you believe that. Like, that. You're like, hey, we'll win. Let's build this first and make it this place that everybody wants to be. So I think it's really cool what he's doing. Like, you can see it. And he's kind of bringing everybody along for the ride on it. And if you want to look into it and read into it, I think we look back on it someday if there's some success, especially early on. I mean, a year from now, we're going to look back and remember when he did this? Well, that was the table setter. And then 5 years from now, if it's really working, and Jacksonville will look back on it and be like, look where the brand is now. Look how far it's come. I mean, I think these are all things he's putting in place as part of a bigger 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. And a lot of that has to include, obviously, winning. I think one of the best parts, Peter King bounced back at him about the Belichick stuff, because he mentioned Belichick and how he learned from Brady, watching him in a film room, and how he shared that with his Ohio State quarterbacks. And, so he brought up the Belichick and Patriots culture. He said, well, he did have a quarterback, and he's like, part of the culture. Yeah. And so that's obviously, Trevor Lawrence, part of the culture. Hopefully he's the quarterback that helps that out. So I think it's been fascinating to watch Urban Meyer in the first 75 days. From a player perspective, because you don't meet with him, are there a lot of players right now probably still kind of guessing, wondering, like, what's this guy all about? We haven't had a team meeting. We haven't been laid the foundation just yet. Yeah. Or are they just sitting there enjoying their offseason and call me in mid-April when we're about to go in there?
No. I mean, like, there hasn't been a formal meeting, but like he said, he's seen guys in passing. So even in passing, whether you're sitting in the weight room for a couple minutes chatting with guys, like, you can kind of purvey some of the things that you want to do and that you want to attack. And whether it's schematically or, philosophy about the game of football, there's definitely some little nuggets that you can drop here, there, and then when you drop one of those, and obviously word spreads because players talk. So while I think players are definitely enjoying their offseason, they realize it's going to be a lot different than it was last year, more than likely. I think they still kind of have at least a varying degree of what's going to take part this up-and-coming season. Now, until Urban Meyer gets in front of the entire team and, speaks his piece, there's going to be a lot of question marks, and there's still going to be a lot of things unanswered. But I think there's already some groundwork being laid in that weight room when he talks to his players.
It doesn't feel like players, at least that we've heard from, or anybody has taken to social media or anywhere and said, and kind of questioned playing for Urban Meyer. I don't feel like we've seen that. I don't think I've missed that either. Does that surprise you a little bit? That Urban Meyer coming from the college game, Urban Meyer coming with whatever reputation he has, the pros, how are they going to adapt to this college guy? Sure. How's he going to adapt to us? This is a pro game. It's a business now. It's early, 75 days in, but there's been no parting player or current player or newcomer player that's basically been like, I really wonder how this is going to work. Like Chris Conley.
Why would you do that?
Well,
let's think about it, though.
I guess.
If you're a player in that locker room right now and you're wondering, well, I'm not sure about Urban Meyer, like, listen, and unless your name is Josh Allen, or a few other guys, like, everybody's under a microscope right now. And everybody's starting time could be in full, could be affected. So I think to go out there on social media and say, I'm not sure about this Urban Meyer guy, like, really, no, that makes zero sense whatsoever. Like, you have to have an open mind. You have to be optimistic until Urban Meyer gives you reason not to be optimistic. Like, that's how the league works. If you have the attitude where it's like, I'm not sure if this guy can do it, and that's your coach, well, then more than likely you're going to have a bad attitude in training camp, and more than likely you're going to either, flicker out or you're going to be good, but they're not going to want you around because you have the bad attitude, and you'll get traded away. Yeah. So it's just not a smart move.
Yeah, and you're probably right. By the way, they're such a young team, and there's so many question marks, and nobody's got the resume outside of maybe a Josh Allen to really be able to say too much, right? Yeah. Maybe a DJ Chark does. But I guess I've just been a little bit, I'm not surprised, but maybe even a Chris Conley exiting or Keelan Cole exiting, or you name the guy that's not in here, maybe interviewed by now and says, that's going to be interesting to watch. I'm not talking about somebody absolutely hammering Urban Meyer. I'm just wondering, somebody kind of questioning this is going to be an interesting fit. It seemed like when Urban Meyer got hired, plenty of people were willing to question how it's going to fit. Former players who are now analysts, that's their job to do it. But it felt like we heard some of that. Well, in the 75 days since he's been hired, I don't feel like I've heard any of that. Instead, I feel like I've heard, man, I can't wait to play for this guy. Hey, this guy knows how to win. Like, I feel like it's been the opposite. And again, I didn't think there was going to be this wave of, oh my gosh, there's going to be so many people that didn't want to play for Urban Meyer. I just thought you'd always get a little bit of, okay, let's see. Let's wait and see. And it just hasn't been anything like that. I feel like overall, the guys in this locker room, the free agents that came in, they can't wait to play for Meyer.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't, listen, I think from the narrative of media, there's definitely some speculation there, and there's some critiques there, and rightfully so. But from the player's side, he hasn't given anybody a reason why to go against him. Even Keelan Cole and even Chris Conley, they were let go, but I think they saw the writing on the wall. It's not like there's any ill will towards Urban Meyer. So, I don't think they would ever, put him in a false light or question what he's about to do. I think players do that when they have a reason to. Urban Meyer's a first-year guy in the NFL. There's no reason to question his tactics if you're an NFL player. That would be stupid because we don't know yet. Give him a year. Give him 2 years, and then let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation. But as of now, you got no room to say anything.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. What do you think about 17 games?
Well, I spoke the piece on it. I think that the NFL players didn't get a big enough piece of the pie. But it is what it is from my standpoint, a guy who covers the NFL and is, really is in fantasy football and all that stuff. I love it. I think from the players' perspective, I think they could have got a little more money from it. But if they're happy, then hey, I'm happy.
17 games was a foregone conclusion. The problem with players griping is, and by the way, players are okay to gripe. Alvin Kamara can gripe a little bit, say it's dumb. As long as he said it's dumb a year ago as they were voting. And I wish a guy like Kamara would say, hey, this is why I tried to question our leadership and say we need more of the pie, right? Because 17 is dumb. I would buy that. But overall, the big picture is I don't think you're going to get a vast majority of players complaining because they know they kind of signed up for it. They did get a bigger piece of the pie. Maybe not enough.
That's the bait. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's certainly, and that's fine, right? If Austin Lane is part of the CBA like you were back in 2011, and Austin Lane is sitting there behind the scenes and saying, guys, we need more. Like, we need more. Like, they're going to get us to a 17th game. They might get us to an 18th game someday. We need more.
Sure.
Don't sign up for this. And if that's your thing and you're outspoken about that, you don't even have to be outspoken about it. But now it comes to fruition. I just want Austin Lane to be like, hey, I tried to tell this is why I was pushing back against this. This is going to be challenging. This is going to be tough. We needed more for that 17th game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I just didn't see that from the Camaras of the world and everything else.
But okay, so let's say that I took that narrative, which I probably would have. I would have been one of the guys saying, hey, let's just relax a little bit. There's going to be a new broadcast deal coming through the pipeline. Let's just sit here and let's reaffirm how much money we're going to get and how much money the owner is going to get. Like, I definitely would have brought those questions into light. The vote happens, we lose out, we sign the CBA, we get whatever the pie we get, so be it. But then I wouldn't be the guy after the fact to say, well, I tried to tell you guys, now here we that does no good, though.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well,
at the end of the day,
like, that. I'm just saying, hey, this is why I was against. Just to reiterate, I don't think it's dumb now a year later. We knew this was coming, but the reason why there was some pushback from some people, myself included, like, that's fair enough to say. Like,
no,
I think a guy like Kamara, like, to me, it falls on deaf ears now, the players complaining. Because they signed the CBA. Although in reality, just because somebody says they voted for approval for the CBA, it doesn't mean every player agreed on the CBA.
No,
there's a big difference there.
And obviously the vote was very close. You know, I forgot what the percentages were. The vote was very close. But once again, like, I'm not going to be like, well, I try to tell, like, listen, when they signed it, I'm like, okay, have fun with that. I mean, I was like, I don't think that was the best deal, but have fun with that. And at the end of the day, like, if you're Alvin Kamara and you want to come out and say, I tried telling these guys, like, that does him zero favors. Like, what he should do now is, hey, here's what happened. Educate yourselves for next time, and then we won't be here again. Like, if I'm Alvin Kamara or somebody that spoke out against this, I'm not going to try to put any player's face and say, I tried to tell you. All I would say is, guys, we got the short end of the stick again. Next time this comes around, every 3 or 4 years, let's do our due diligence. Let's do our homework. Let's care about this thing for us and for the future and also the past, and make sure that we sign a great deal. That's what I would be preaching for the next one.
This is crystal clear, though. This is not to help players. This is to help us greedy fans. This is to help TV networks. And this is to help owners, give their fans, their customers, a better product than that goofy, bad fourth preseason game. Right? I mean, that's what this is really about. And still getting the 10 home games and, at least, 2 of them 1 year will be a preseason, one the other year. And
what was the trade-off? Was it the whole medical marijuana thing?
That's a good question. Let's talk more about it, because I also have a question about load management. Is it coming to the NFL now because of this?
Yeah.
We'll be back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Defensive lineman Tyson Alualu had a change of heart. He's decided to stay with the Steelers instead of returning back to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though he agreed to a 2-year, $6 million contract, he never actually signed it. And according to sources, the Jags offer is actually better than Pittsburgh's. Florida State had a rough night of it against the number 1 seeded Michigan Wolverines, falling 76-58 in the Sweet 16. Daniel Dash, Michigan beat writer for SB Nation, describes how Michigan overcame Florida State's length.
A lot of what changed was Franz Wagner stepping up and becoming more of a playmaker than anything else. Last year as a freshman, he was really a spot-up three-point shooter. They kind of stashed him in the corner. But over the quarantine, he actually lived with Mo Wagner in Washington, D.C., and the brothers trained together, particularly on their ball handling. It opened so many doors for Michigan's offense, and I think that's really what allowed them to explode in tonight's second half.
The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 2 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets. Especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
Welcome to Moe's, and good morning at Moe's. In St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1, it's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Try it. You'll love it. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. They put the fast in breakfast. Made to order in the drive-thru. Try the Home Wrecker breakfast burrito. Your choice of bacon, chicken, or steak with scrambled eggs, shredded cheese, and seasoned potatoes. Served daily at 6 a.m. St. Augustine location only. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
Hey, this is JJ Reddick. Whether it's after a tough workout or a game, there's nothing like a long, hot shower to help my body refresh, and a huge part of that process is the body wash that I use. That's why you should use the new Dove Men Plant-Based Body Wash. It uses plant-based cleansers and moisturizers to keep your skin healthy and hydrated. Eucalyptus oil and cedar, lime and avocado oil, and charcoal and clove. Relax your body and mind with the new Dove Men Plant-Based Body Wash.
Experience the Dove Men Plus Care plant-based line for yourself. Buy it now at Walmart and Target.
Max.
If he never golfs again and you're telling the Tiger Woods story, how could it not end? For I know he's won since then. At the Masters.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Like, you don't have to scale back practice. You actually want to ramp up practice because you have to prepare your body for what it has to go through.
Now, as far as recovery time and all that stuff, sleeping, that's all still important. So if you're going to prepare for 17-game season, you got to prepare for like you're preparing for an 18-game season, right? And I understand it's a fine balance between overtraining and not training to peak and be able to survive it, right? So like you look at what's going to happen is guys are going to get hurt because they're going to start saving themselves. They're going to start doing walkthroughs and stuff like that. Then when they go full go, they're going to start injuring themselves.
That's Bart Scott, right?
I don't.
Yeah.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos, back here on a Monday, and a lot to dive into. We'll get to the NCAA tournament a little bit in Florida State. Elite Eight tonight, Monday and Tuesday, which is kind of cool. I got to believe the ratings are down in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Based off everybody's bracket getting busted on like the first weekend.
Well, doesn't Arkansas play tonight at like 10:30 or something?
Yeah, in the late games.
It's a little late.
Sports and late games kind of our thing.
A little late for my liking, though.
But yeah, it's late. I just don't know. I don't know where would there be better ratings if they put it at 5 and 7. I don't know. Maybe you could argue 6 and 8:30 instead of 7:15 and 9:55. I think there are arguments to make. I think we'll find it as fans, and maybe only the back half of that first game gets watched as much, but I think you get to see the complete nightcap. I never understand it. There's some reason they just won't change that, right? From the World Series to the NBA Finals to this, they just won't change it. We're talking about 17 games. 2 quick questions. One, if you were playing now, would you treat your body differently? You guys are creatures of habit. You take care of your body. You sleep a lot. All the stuff that Bart Scott was just saying.
Sure.
Would it change the way you do anything, do you think? Keep in mind, even since you play, there's a lot more science to it now. Whether you do something different in the offseason, whether you do something week to week to be stronger, I don't know. I'm just asking.
So you're saying, would I change a 17-game schedule?
Would your day-to-day routine
from a 16 game?
Yeah, would your routine to keep your body physically in great shape and healthy change at all?
No, I mean, you would stress more on the recovery stuff. But, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to talk against Bart Scott here, but like to say like you want to peak at a certain time. Well, no, like it's the National Football League. Like usually when you peak for like the whole tapering period and the whole peaking period. That's good for like marathon running, or it's good for like a one day or like a fight. It's good for like a one-day thing. It's not good for the grueling of an entire season, because then say you peak like week 12, week 13. Well, how are you going to feel in week 14, 15, 16? Yeah. So like it's not so much of like you're trying to go towards one point. It's the fact that you're trying to maintain. Yeah. Like, you're not trying to lose anything.
It's more survive in advance.
Exactly. So I wouldn't change listen, I would change a lot of things. Not sitting here now at 33 years old, back to when I was that 20-year-old kid at the beach bars every single week, and I would change all that stuff. But from my routine, it would just be focused more on recovery. But like as far as like the training and prepping my body for the gruels of the season, there's only so much you can do before being overtrained.
Do you think with 17 games, there'll be some players, will we get load management entering the NFL like it does in the NBA? There are some games that don't matter in the NBA now. I think every game matters more in the NFL because of the 17-game nature. But do you think we have a chance to get some load management, even if it's just a tweak that some guy could play through, but it's like, listen, I don't need to play this week. We're 12-2, and I want to make sure I'm good for the stretch run. I'm going to rest instead of push through it type of thing.
I think it would be smart. Are they still going to do the one rule where it's just one playoff team gets the bye week? Or are they doing 2 playoff teams now again?
We think that they're going to continue with the 7 playoff teams, that expansion of the last year. So that'd be only one bye.
Well, so if you only have the one bye as well, I think you're going to see a lot more guys resting because only one team can get that bye. And let's say maybe there's, whether it's the Chiefs or the Buccaneers, maybe there's one team out of the AFC or NFC that has the better record than anybody, and it's a landslide. And it's like, all right, well, they have the home field advantage. We'll let them go. We'll get the 2 or 3 seed, get the home field advantage, and go from there. So when we talk about competitive advantages, yes, that bye is huge. But if there's only one of them to go around, well, then what's the next advantage? Well, that's home field. Okay, well, there's a couple home field advantages to go around, right? And depending how everything shakes out in the regular season, I think you will see teams rest guys pending that they're already locked in to a home playoff game.
And the other thing is you could make the case that home field didn't matter much last year, even with the expansion, because of the lack of fans. Now, that'll be different, hopefully, if there's full stadiums and you got this raucous crowds, and that really does give you an advantage playing at home. Listen, you love it as a fan, 17 meaningful games. The other thing we don't know about is they still haven't decided on this offseason. Like, are there going to be OTAs, mini camps? I mean, I wonder if the players get that out of this still.
If they get the OTAs?
If they get rid of them, or at least a shrunk-down version of it. Because remember, last year they didn't have that stuff, and it was fine. I mean, the product was fine, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the players' health was versus previous years, but I got to believe there's a win in here for the players in the offseason somewhere, even if it's a small one.
Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, it's all about team morale and player morale, and I think if you take away the OTAs, or at least some sort of that, it's going to increase morale.
Yeah, I think so, too. You know me. My feeling on it, I think while it's not a waste of time that's over the top, it's not as valuable as coaches and organizations and the NFL wants to say it is.
Well, I'm going to say, though, it's valuable for a new coach and a new scheme and new players, though.
I think you do want it here in Jacksonville this year to some degree, right? To some degree, even if it's not 2.5 months long.
Yes.
Tyson Alualu has a change of heart. What was that all about? Austin had an interesting thought or two on it. We'll get to it. 4 o'clock hour coming up. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
CGC Water has been telling you, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer. Where else can you get lunch and brunch and booze and specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the South Side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Lunch and brunch and booze and specials and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the South Side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 3 new lawsuits accusing Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson of sexual assault and inappropriate conduct were filed last night. That brings the total number filed against Watson to 19. He has publicly denied any wrongdoing. Jaguars coach Urban Meyer told NBCSports.com the team is leaning toward taking former Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence first overall in next month's NFL draft. On this 45th anniversary of Indiana completing a perfect season with an NCAA championship, the Hoosiers today introduced new coach Mike Woodson. The former Indiana star with connections to the Bob Knight era will face some challenges in his new job, says ESPN college basketball reporter Jeff Borzello.
Any coach coming from the NBA to college is always going to be asked the same questions. Can he recruit? Can he get players? Can he relate to, teenagers nowadays? And he's never recruited before. He's been in the NBA. He's been a successful NBA coach, so there's not going to be too many questions about his coaching acumen. But a lot of the guys that have come from the NBA to college have struggled.
In the NBA, Nets guard Kyrie Irving back tonight against the Timberwolves. Was out the last 3 games dealing with a family matter. Forward Kevin Durant still out with a hamstring strain.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
You really can tell something by hearing the ball come out of a quarterback's hand.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The violence that the snap that the ball comes out, the grunt or the effort with, some guys throw a ball effortless and some people have to really rear back and throw it. Oh, absolutely. Come down here, Peter, someday. I'll have you stand there and let you.
Let me listen.
I'll have an average guy throw one and then I'll have him throw it. You tell me if you can hear the.
All right, I'll do that. I'll definitely do that. Is there any real mystery that you're picking Trevor Lawrence?
I'd have to say that's the direction we're going, and I'll leave that up to the owner when we make that decision official. But I'm certainly not stepping out of line. That's certainly the direction we're headed.
I love it, man. Basically just say, yeah, we're taking him. Which is good. We've all known it anyway. Not ducking the question. I think the only time he's kind of ducked that a little bit was the whole Gardner Minshew stuff. And he said, well, listen, we haven't made anything final. And he said that like a week and a half ago or so because there were some questions about trades with Gardner Minshew. Yeah. And he said, well, listen, nothing's final here. We're still doing our homework. And then yesterday, basically, he's like, or this morning with Peter King basically saying that, yeah,
well,
that's what
do you think he said it too? Because if he hadn't, I feel like the headlines would have been that off comment where he said, come down here sometime and I'll let you hear it. And they were talking about Trevor Lawrence's pro day, so he kind of already
gone that
slipped
way.
And then was just like, well,
yeah, it's a good point. That's a good point. He didn't shy away from it either question. What does the football sound like? I understand that. We've made this comparison before. I've never thought about it until Urban Meyer's right there front and center at the Clemson Pro Day, and he says it. But I would suspect in that industry, in that business, it sounds different. I can tell you this, like growing up playing baseball, I know when a bat hits a ball and it sounds different. Yeah. In golf, say it all the time. You go out there to the Players' Championship, listen to those guys hit a golf ball, and then come play with me and listen to the way I hit a golf ball. It's different.
Sure.
Like the sound. It's not that their swing is better. It's not that their clubs are better. It's not that they hit it farther and they can control it better. They're just better at golf. No, it sounds different. Okay? So I get that. I still don't know what I would like. You could give me a couple of sounds, and I'm not really sure, okay, is that the good sound or the bad sound?
Yeah.
What would it sound like if you threw a football?
It would be super aggressive and super intense, I'm sure, because I feel like I don't have any kind of soft touch whatsoever when it comes to basketball or football. So as a defensive lineman, I never noticed the sound because I was always, using language and screaming at somebody.
Out that sound?
That sound was easily drowned out. I've never heard a quarterback throw in stereo before, but I'd love to hear it.
So I have an idea. We need to get an average quarterback, and then we need to get, say, Trevor Lawrence. And then one of us has to line up, and we have them peg us in the back with the regular football, the regular throw, and then have Trevor Lawrence to do it, see if we feel a difference.
We couldn't get Gardner Minshew on the show. You think we get Trevor Lawrence on the show? You think Trevor Lawrence would come here?
I don't know.
Okay.
So there's something about folks that are trying to harm media members that is appealing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that might work.
To throw at your back?
Oh, by the way, Kuz, you're the one that's going to be the dummy then.
You just signed up for that one.
Well,
I'm
I
not
was
taking a
kinda hoping
shot
you
to
would
the
do
back.
it.
I'm not taking a shot to the back. For what?
To figure out if it feels different.
For the views? No.
No, to see if Trevor Lawrence is the real deal.
Once we get a TikTok account.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not taking a football to the back, guys. So, sorry. I ain't going to do it. Okay. Kuz, it's all you, man.
Kuz, you're up.
Have at it. It's your idea. Follow
now
through
I
with
regret
it.
saying
Hey,
it.
finish the race. Finish the race, Kuz. You started this race. You got to finish it.
Hey, how's Ronan, by the way?
Good. Eight
He
stitches.
beat you,
He beat
didn't
me. 8 stitches.
Yes,
he beat me.
sir.
Yep.
Is he walking around the house this weekend loud and proud, chest up high?
He was pretty pumped up. I think all the nurses there at Baptist Medical think our family's a bunch of psychos, but yeah, because the whole time it's just we're a different kind of family, man. And my wife's got her hands in her her head in her hands, just like, oh my gosh, because we're going back and forth. Like Ronan's a little buddy. He's like, I think we need one more stitch over here. I'm like, no, that's plenty of stitches. He's good. Cut him off. Because he's trying to get more, obviously, to sound tougher than what so that whole thing. I suggested super glue, but whatever. He got stitches.
Good for him.
8 of them.
Eight of them. Beat Dad. Tougher
Beat me
than
by
Dad.
2. Beat me by 2.
I love it.
A new lane stitch record.
That's good. You couldn't even say in basketball you play 1-on-1. You got to beat him by 2. Well, he beat you by 2.
No, beat him by 2, man. There is no room for doubt. But hey, I still got plenty of years ahead of me. Okay, I still do a lot of dumb stuff. Ronan, I'm coming for you.
Your clumsier days are ahead of you.
Oh, dude, you tell it, man. One day my back's going to go. I'm just going to fall. Hopefully it'll be by something sharp. Yeah. I can get 10 stitches on something.
Little did Ronan know that this was more than a sprint here. This is a marathon.
Oh, this is a
lifelong
This
thing.
is a lifelong marathon. And I have to obviously beat him out right now because by the time he gets to high school and starts, hopefully plays sports, but if he doesn't, whatever. But I feel like there's more stitches coming his way eventually. So I gotta ante up and beat him.
Yeah, there might be more stitches coming your way, too, if you keep fighting for a while.
Yeah, we'll see.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Kuz on a Monday. Hope you're doing well. One of the stories of the weekend actually broke maybe right after our show on Friday. Or maybe it was Saturday morning. I don't know. But Tyson Alualu.
Yeah.
It's just wild because we were just talking about it last week, and you said, is Tyson Alualu even on the roster? He hadn't been given a number.
Yeah.
And, well, you sniffed that one out because there was something else in the works. Here's the peculiar nature of this story.
Yeah.
His agency is the one that broke the news about signing with the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
He actually did a story with one of the affiliates back in Hawaii, an interview about signing with the Jags. Now, I had reached out to his agent to see if we could get him on the show. I think you might have reached out to Tyson too, and it was and then it went a little bit quiet, like never heard anything. Well, then about a week later, we get the report that he's had a change of heart and he's going to stay in Pittsburgh. That's where the family is. They just built like a dream home there and got an offer to stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't see that happen very often in free agency in the NFL at all. This was pretty wild. Surprise you?
No.
No. And I know you had your reasons on social media. How was that exchange all weekend long?
The exchange, listen, there's a lot of people in their feelings about how they feel about Tyson Alualu. So let's go ahead and put a couple things to bed right now. Was Tyson Alualu taken a little bit too high? Yes. Would Tyson Alualu would have come here and been a huge part of this defensive line? Yes. Would he been a staple in a 3-4 defense, playing that nose technique, and would he have been an anchor and taking on double teams and stopping the run? Yes. Okay? Now, if you don't believe me, you can take a look at his Pro Football Focus score. And I don't ever really bring this up a lot, but I watched a lot of, of Steelers games last year. I saw what he did. But if you don't want to take my word for it, go look up his grade. You know what his grade was last year?
I'm going to guess in the high 80s or low 90s because he had his best year of his career probably.
Absolutely
statistically.
Right. 89. He had an 89 in terms of his position grade of interior defensive lineman. You want to know what Aaron Donald had last year?
150?
93. 83, so 89, 93. Okay, so Tyson had a great year last year, playing in a new position, essentially, at that nose tackle. So, let's go back. Let's rewind the clocks a little bit to how this whole thing formulated. The Jacksonville there was speculation that Tyson Alualu signs with the Jacksonville Jaguars. A couple hours later, and I think we addressed this the next day, then they go after
Malcolm Brown.
And I remember on the show, I was like, well, that's weird because Malcolm Brown's a nose tackle. And Tyson Alualu, who has played 3 technique in the past, but now is a nose tackle, also plays nose tackle. And we talked about this. I'm like, so you're going to have 2 nose tackles on the same team? Now, people out there want to say, well, he could have played 3 technique. Tyson Alualu played the nose tackle position last year at an elite level. Okay? It was the best year of his long, illustrious career. Why would he come back to Jacksonville and play a position where it wasn't his best, spot? He didn't have the most success. Why would you agree to come to Jacksonville for that? So I'm under the impression that Tyson Alualu was expecting to play nose tackle here. Okay, fair enough. You're playing a 3-4 defense, a lot like Pittsburgh. Same thing. Why not? Come back to Jacksonville where you're a part of it. So then they go after Malcolm Brown. Red flag number 1. Okay? Now, as the days progressed, and I didn't really address this, I didn't bring it up, but I started to become skeptical a little bit because we had interviews here or there, players getting interviewed saying, I'm excited to go to Jacksonville. Tyson never said anything.
No.
Okay? And I follow him on Facebook. He never addressed it on Facebook. Now, there are people posting on his wall, hey, we're excited for you to be. He never said a word. Instagram, I don't have Instagram. But I even typed in his Instagram thing, looked on Instagram. Nothing. Now, he did an interview, but that was it. More baffling to me, around the few days later, is this is a story. Tyson Alualu coming back to Jacksonville, okay, where he was a first-round pick. A lot of history here. Coming, back to Jacksonville, maybe essentially finish his career, that's his story. We never saw the Jaguars push that narrative.
Yeah.
We never saw the Jaguars.
And everybody talks.
Social media.
Who was a free agent.
Push that narrative. Why wouldn't you push that narrative? Where's the Tyson Alualu footage when he played here back in the day? That's a great story to tell, right? Another red flag. So when people want to sit here and say, oh, he left the Jags at the altar, all of a sudden he had a change of faith or whatever like that, in my opinion, and once again, this is just my opinion, nobody else's, I think this has been going on for a while. I think the writing has been on the wall for a while. Now, yeah, I think Tyson Alualu actually did have COVID, all right? And then I think he had all that going on. And when Tom Pelissero comes out and says, well, he built a new home here, he built a great, I'm like, get any more detailed about his home. What are we And that's the reason why I tweeted that. I'm like, dude, what are we talking about here, Tom Pelissero? Just say he wanted to stay in Pittsburgh. We don't got to get the extreme details of, he just built the home, he's got the family. Okay, and maybe that's all true. And Tyson Alualu, the biggest family man you're ever going to meet.
Absolutely. Keep in mind, he kept his family here for the first, at least a year, if not 2, I think, when he went to Pittsburgh initially. Yeah. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah. So a huge family man, and maybe that was the sole reason. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of red flags out there that nobody really talked about until this all added up, and myself included, because I'm like, he's going to sign. But no, we never heard anything. The fact that he never addressed it, the fact that the team social media account never had any kind of cool video, hey, welcome back, Tyson, we saw none of it. So that leads me to believe that, and once again, just my opinion, when they brought Malcolm Brown in as a starting nose tackle, because guess what? You're not going to have and people want to say, well, what about the competition? What you gave up for Malcolm Brown in terms of getting him in the contract and all that stuff, Malcolm Brown was going to be the starter. Okay? Simple as that. I knew it. I think Tyson would know it. The team knew it. We all knew it.
Is he younger?
Malcolm Brown was going to be the starter. Okay? Tyson Alualu was going to be the backup nose tackle. Now, maybe he could have been a starting 3 technique, but once again, if you're Tyson, why would you want to do that? Okay? So when you put all that together, I think this has been brewing for a while. I don't think this was a yesterday kind of thing or 2 days ago where all of a sudden it was like breaking news. Tyson Alualu leaves the Jaguars out to dry. I think the Jaguars knew about it. I think Tyson Alualu knew about it. And all of a sudden they're just like, all right, we're going to announce it here on Saturday or late Friday, whenever it was.
I'll give you one more domino because this happened, I think, on Friday, was the Adam Gotsis signing.
Yeah.
So then they add one more defensive lineman. And I'm not saying he's playing nose tackle, but I'm just saying they add another defensive lineman before the news about Alualu, going back to Pittsburgh was in place.
So don't sit here and tell me that it was 10 days he had a change of heart. I don't think so.
No, it was more maybe the Jags got a better option or at least viewed it as a good depth play. And that's what I would ask you. Does he have to start? And I understand there's something about that, but you're talking about a rotational position, especially at the age of 33. You could become more of a rotational guy whether you're starting or not. Yeah. To get the best out of you and now in a 17-game season. Mm-hmm. So I from that point of view, Tyson, by the way, is like the least egotistical guy, at least that the Tyson I know in the world.
So absolutely.
So I just, do you think it really miffed him, or it just became like, hey, maybe this isn't the best fit? Let's see if we can work something out with Pittsburgh, and we can. So let's make it happen.
Once again, I think the fact that when they got after, because let's be honest, if you're the Jaguars and you're conducting deals right now, and you call up Tyson Alualu, and it's like, Tyson, how you doing, man? And I don't know who called him, whoever it was. We're interested in you. Want you to come back home. Yeah. Be a leader for this team. We got a young team right now. We need depth. We're going to 3-4 defense. You're coming from a 3-4 defense. You had the best year of your season. We want you to come play nose tackle for us. Tyson was probably fine. Do you think the Jaguars are going to say, oh, and by the way, a little caveat, though, real quick.
Working on a deal here.
We might trade for Malcolm Brown. Don't worry about that, though. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about Malcolm Brown stuff. But, yeah, come play 3-4 nose tackle for us, and maybe Malcolm Brown, just in the fine print. No. That's not how the conversation went. So if you're Tyson Alualu and you verbally agree, okay, fantastic. I'm going back to Jacksonville. I have a lot of roots planted there. It's where I started my career. Joe Cullen's back there. Let's go ahead and do it. If you do that and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, wait a second. Now we're getting Malcolm Brown as well. You're going to be a little turned off to the idea. Yeah. I don't care who you are, because you know why? Because I would have been.
Yeah.
If I was in Tyson's shoes, and keep in mind, like he's a lot more of a great guy than I probably ever will be. But with that being said, there's no way that I'm gonna second guess stuff then, right?
Yeah. What's their plan? What did they sell me? What's going on? Did something change?
So if you're Tyson, what do? Do you come to Jacksonville, where you're probably going to be a depth guy, or do you stay in Pittsburgh, where your family is, where your home is? Oh, and by the way, guess what? You're still the starting nose tackle at the position that you dominated last year with the defensive line that you dominated with last year. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I guess it makes some sense. I by the way, when this happened, I didn't think any ill will on Tyson. I mean, I really didn't. I mean, things changed.
And by the way, people are, I'll be honest, people are emotional.
Yes, they are.
Okay? Don't want to call anybody out, but Jax Boz was emotional. Okay? I mean, me and him went back and forth a little bit out of a little friendly conversation. He texted me, or he tweeted me some bread that he made. Didn't know what that meant. And then he tweeted me a picture of Urban Meyer on his cell phone saying Urban Meyer didn't like my tweet. So I don't know what that means. I can't do a lot with that kind of stuff, though, huh? Like bread and Urban Meyer, and it was like the back of his head, so I'm not sure if it was you or Urban Meyer. I don't know who the guy was. It might have been Urban Meyer. I don't know what was going on Twitter on Sunday. It was craziness.
Jax Boz, AEW star, by the way.
Oh, I mean, who you telling, man?
Yeah.
Celebrity at this point.
So who is their backup? Here's who the Jags have. Josh Allen, Caleb Von Chason. Those guys are on the edge, right? I mean, they're the linebackers, essentially, in this defense now. Jihad Ward, is he going to be a strong side guy, or is he going to play one of those 3 technique positions in a 3-4?
I think Ward's going to play a 3 technique.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you have Smoot, who can do the same. Adam Gotsis, who can do the same.
He's going to have to do the same.
Right?
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit. I think Smoot might be I don't know how much Smoot weighs right now. He's going to want to get in the 285 to at least 290 range to even to be able to compete. You want to see a guy weigh 295 to 300, though, as a defensive end. in a 3-4 defense.
Yeah, but I assume him. I don't see him as the nose. He's not going to get into a nose tackle.
No,
position.
he's not going to play a nose. He's not going to play an outside linebacker.
No.
So he's a defensive end.
Yeah.
And same thing with Gotsis.
And same with Gotsis. So you have that. Who else we have here? So you got Devon Hamilton, who I still see as a nose tackle possibility. You think he could be the
he can play, in my
defensive
opinion,
tackle too.
He can definitely play both. I think he can play a defensive end technique and also a nose technique. So there's a little, in my opinion, once again, there's a little versatility there.
Taven Bryan playing the 3 technique if he's on the roster,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, that's without a doubt.
Just double checking.
Where's
Doug
for sure.
Costin
Well,
play?
and you say 3, see.
Basically, here's how I look at just for layman's terms. I'm looking at the big guy in the middle and the 2 guys on the outside.
Sure, yes.
Taven's not the big guy in the middle. You can label him whatever the hell you want to label him.
Yeah.
But the big guy in the middle is what the nose tackle is. That was where Tyson was going to play.
Correct.
Right? That's where Malcolm Brown will play.
Yes.
That's where Devon Hamilton might play.
Yes.
Doug Costin.
He's playing like, as you call it, the 3 technique. He's playing the end spot.
That end spot.
There's no way he's playing nose tackle.
So the Jags still essentially, depending on how they view Devon Hamilton, have a starter and a backup. Malcolm Brown and Devon Hamilton?
You're going to have to put Devon Hamilton right now with where the roster sits. You got to put him at the 3. I'm sorry. I mean, at the nose. Yeah. I'm confusing myself right now. At the nose tackle.
So when let's just take Malcolm Brown out of it. When they initially signed Tyson Alualu, they saw Tyson Alualu as their starter and maybe Devon Hamilton as their backup nose.
More than likely.
And keep in mind, everybody, again, this is a rotational position. Like, starter to me is like, yeah, whatever. You're going to almost split snaps potentially.
See, it's rotational, but not really from the nose. If you have a legit nose,
Okay,
like
he can hang in there,
Well, I mean, like I think of like Hiloti Nada. Like he wasn't rotational. Like if you needed a base defense, that guy's out there at the nose technique because he's that good. I think Malcolm Brown can be that guy, and so can Tyson Alualu. Like you hear the term rotation. Well, it's rotational from the nose technique because there's a lot of passing plays. But when you play in the AFC South Division where you have Derrick Henry and where you have Jonathan Taylor now and things like that, you got to stop the run. So think of it as the nose technique you stop the run with. If it's 2nd and long or 3rd and long, then he's probably off the field. So it's rotational, but not really.
I got you. That makes sense. But keep in mind, 33-year-old Tyson Alualu being out there all the time, I think I do like the idea of Malcolm Brown, like at his age and everything. The upside of his career still. It might be better off for the Jags. It worked out this way too.
No, for sure. Like, I mean, I have no ill. Obviously, I have no ill will towards Tyson. How it worked out, I get from Tyson's perspective. You're back in Pittsburgh now. You probably took a pay cut, but I don't think money's really an issue for Tyson anymore. The guy's been playing for 11, 12 years.
That's why he built his dream home.
Exactly. and then I think with Malcolm Brown, he plays that nose technique, but then also out of like your speed packages, your pass rush packages, he gives you something too in the pass rush. So. There you go.
Yeah, so interesting. That was wild, though, to see that over the weekend with Tyson Alualu. And that was one of the old guys they signed, by the way, in free agency. Obviously, a 33-year-old Tyson Alualu. Shock your mock. Have you recovered from the weekend?
I've been recovering from Twitter over the weekend.
Shock your mock
My
coming
word.
up on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy and cooler today, but it'll be pretty decent, just lower temperatures than average, but a nice break from the recent heat. Near 70 degrees inland, cooler at the beaches, and down into the upper 50s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down.
Ever finally get around to trying something and it's so much better than you expected? Where you're mentally kicking yourself for not doing it sooner or wondering where it's been your whole life? That's how Griffin customers feel about their Florida-rated AC. They even tell me,
we're never going back to regular AC.
And it's the same for our Florida-rated water heaters, too. It's so much better, our customers wonder why no one told them about it before. Well, we fix what others can't. Tired of having to run a shower or faucet for 3 minutes before you actually get hot water? We can fix that.
Nice.
Tired of Jacksonville's swampy hard water hurting your appliances and hair? We can fix it.
Naturally.
Tired of a tank water heater going bad every 5 to 8 years or running out of hot water?
Yep.
Griffin can fix that big time.
Oh, yeah. I never knew I could have hot water as soon as I turn on the tap.
And my hair could be so much healthier. And my appliances can last longer.
Well, you can, but only if you call
GriffinService.com. 1430-261, 1250-697.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair, all one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees, too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
It's a way to support local businesses and to support local golf courses. And you get free stuff and discounted golf. It's the Dream 18 card. Available now at actionsportsjacksdream18.com. Discounted golf at some of the best courses in the area, like Southampton, Osprey Cove, and Eagle Landing. And you heard free. How about a free smoothie from Smoothie King, a free shirt from Baker Sports, and a free hat from Dome Hats, plus other local business discounts. Support local while saving hundreds of dollars of golf for yourself. It's the Dream 18 card. Available now only at actionsportsjacksdream18.com.
Watch Tanika Hughes and John Bachman on Action News Jacks at 5, 6, and 11.
We make it a point to cover important local news you need to know about.
Perspective is important. It's not just what happened, it's the reason why it happened and how that impacts you.
Plus, it's where you'll find the Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is always changing, and my forecast will help you plan your day and week ahead.
Watch and you'll see why CBS 47 and Fox 30 is local coverage you can count on.
Ready, set, go to Arlington Toyota today. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event starting now, which means it's your time to save on over 400 new Toyotas on the lot at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 RAV4 LE or a new 2021 Tacoma SR Double Cab. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $299 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/March for full details.
First Coast No More Homeless Pets Veterinary Hospital provides premium veterinary care for less. 7 days a week, a full range of services with compassionate care. Pet owners shouldn't have to choose between paying bills or a healthy pet. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue, and it is at Willie Jewell's in St. Augustine at Mirabella Crossing. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Voted best wings in St. Augustine as well. Visit williejewels.com and visit Willie Jewell's at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes. At Willie Jewell's.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
When you start to realize that the reason New Orleans Saints hadn't made a Super Bowl in the last few years is Drew Brees. Drew Brees wasn't the same guy late in season.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Austin Lane.
I had braces. I still have my permanent retainer in. It's been knocked out twice.
Brent Martineau.
So it's not stuck in there.
No, it's not stuck in there.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
I think it's Mac Jones. I have felt Mac Jones with Kyle Shanahan marriage for about a month now. I was with Kyle, and Kyle used to talk about two things that he physically loved in a quarterback all the time. He talked about a very natural throwing motion, and then he talked about this upper body torque that when your feet are always in chaos, which they are in the NFL, you have to be able to throw with just your upper body and kind of the spin of your upper body. And there's two quarterbacks at the top of this draft that have those two physical traits, Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. And I think that this move is about Kyle Shanahan loving Mac Jones. Now, maybe the organization is still intrigued by a player like Trey Lance, and they're not completely sold that they've made their final determination, but I do believe it's for Mac Jones.
You know what that is?
That's
I have a feeling.
Dan Orlovsky.
Chris Sims.
That's Dan Orlovsky.
That's Dan Orlovsky.
It's not Dan Orlovsky. He's not defending himself and yelling. It's not Dan Orlovsky.
What did you just say? Trevor Lawrence can't do that?
Yeah.
You know, they see that throw. Somebody had, I forget where on Twitter, somebody found the throw Zach Wilson made. Everybody was like, even Trevor Lawrence was like, sheesh. He tweeted about.
Oh, no, and me and Kuz broke that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good throw.
Yeah, it was a good throw. Not the best tweet, but a good throw.
But Sam,
I don't like friendships
between
quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's
and
a different
I don't like my quarterbacks liking Justin Bieber either. Okay.
Yeah, we heard about that. I was waiting
2.
for a UFC breakdown, and I got Justin Bieber instead on the last segment Friday.
Well, it's all right, man. Give the people what they want. Now, does the other side of things have an issue with how I talk about, pop music? Probably. so I got to, let's just say it like that.
I haven't been back on there in the last couple.
It's been a little bit, right?
He's in timeout.
One would say I've been shunned from the morning show.
But where was I going with that? What did I say?
Justin Bieber.
You were going to say
Liking Zach
what's
Wilson.
his name did the throw, too, in-game.
Oh, I saw a tweet said Sam Darnold made it the same throw.
Oh, no.
It was a little shorter, but it was the same throw.
That's the Jordan Palmer calling card. He ends because Josh Allen did it, too. Every quarterback ends the Jordan Palmer quarterbacks. I'm not sure if Zach Wilson is even a Jordan Palmer quarterback, but those quarterbacks all in the same throw because it's kind of like it's the big shebang, Brent.
Yeah.
It's the fireworks blowout.
It's
the curtain call.
It's a pretty good throw.
Yeah.
More quarterback talk, including Mac Jones and
now. We'll go ahead. I was going to say once again, you should take a knee and go to victory formation.
That is still a great idea.
We got to. Whatever, man.
Listen, I'm still trying to get Jordan on. I mean,
I've reached out to Jordan Palmer twice.
I reached out to his folks a lot. I mean, I thought we were going to get him when I was in Clemson that day.
Yep.
It's just hard to get these guys on.
There's just nothing more disappointing than when you go back in like your Twitter message history and 2013, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
A couple years passed. Hey, Jordan, will you please come on the show, please? Thank you very much, please. Jordan, please. I need guests. I can't talk for 3 hours, Pop. Please.
I mean, come on, Jordan. I'm doing well, too. I mean, you're not the only one doing well life after football. That's what you should say.
Oh, well.
I'm just trying to go through agents.
Not doing as well as him, but yeah, it's all right. He has endorsements. We ready to go? We're ready to go?
Are we ready to shock your mock?
Kuz,
Week 2.
We ready to roll, man?
You got AC/DC on today?
I mean
you are all in.
Were they an inspiration?
Jailbreak.
Oh, yeah. See? Right on. Let's go, Kuz.
He is none other than the Shock Master!
Gonna shock yo, Mark! We're gonna shock yo, Mark!
Brutality, don't you think?
Shocking. Gonna shock yo, Mark! We're gonna shock yo, Mark!
Shocking upset.
I feel shocked. Shock yo, Mark! We're gonna shock yo, Mark!
I am shocked. I am shocked. That's what I mean. I am.
Before I sprinkle on the wrath, any more guesses of what those 2 sound bites are from that we haven't got yet?
Did Kuz get one the other day, or did you just come close?
Kuz guessed, came close. Kuz, what was your guess again?
Was it Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, Trailer Park Boys. Yep.
If it's along those lines, I've got no chance.
You'd be surprised, actually. I think you've definitely heard of the show before. It's a classic staple from our generation. And if you want any more of a hint, I mean, let me just tell you it, because I mean that's a pretty big hint. Staple from our generation. Animated.
It's got to be
animated. Animated.
King of the Hill?
Kuz. Brent.
That was Casey, by the way, back there.
Oh, Casey's got it?
Don't even let you get
Casey, I see you, man. You know what, Kuz? I mean,
listen,
you still do the Trevor Tracker, and
I feel like we broke a lot of news on Friday.
Oh yeah, were the Bieber fans all excited? Fantastic!
I have no idea.
And by the way, I love Justin Bieber. Speaking from someone who's worked on the other side in the top 40 station, Justin Bieber,
big fan. Love the new album.
A lot of, I mean, I brush my teeth to it, Brent. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Kuz mean mugs me. All right, so let's get it, man. Shock your mock. Today we got a special one. Before we get into the mock draft, and Kuz, feel free to put up and give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go. Thumbs are already up. I like your style. I like your moves. With that being said, though, Magic Fan Ben. And Twitter handle, Ben Jags Magic. So this guy wants to know that he's an Orlando Magic fan. On behalf of ESPN 690, condolences.
Our sincere apologies.
Okay.
We picked you out of, just
pity.
because we feel bad.
Well, pity. Yeah. I mean, pity. And let's be honest, you're a Jaguars fan. It's been kind of rough the past decade, but man, being a Magic fan as well, I can't. Like, at least I got the Milwaukee Bucks, Brent. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least the Bucks give me some kind of hope, and the Brewers here or there. But the reason why I'm going to call Magic fan Ben from the get-go, this guy's a Jaguars fan, went to his profile, he checks out. But then check what he put out in the hashtags. Now, we were very clear what we wanted in the hashtags. Hashtag shock your mock, right? That's how we find it, everybody. If you want your mock shocked, hashtag shock your mock. This guy, this hooligan, goes out and says, hashtag go shock yourself, A-Train 92. Now.
Go shock yourself.
Now, funny, not bad, witty, why not? But also a declaration of war. You better believe it. So let's just say right now, Magic fan Ben, not off to the bestest of starts. And bestest is definitely a word because I just said it. Not off to the bestest of starts. Let's get into it. Kuz, it's up there already. We're good to go? Thumbs are up again. I love it. All right. Pick number one, Trevor Lawrence.
It's like a slow unveil for Kuz here on the feed. I like it. I mean, he's like directing.
Pick number one,
we got direction.
Pick number one, we got Trevor Lawrence. By the way, this mock draft was done from Pro Football Focus mockdraftresults.com.
You're welcome.
Hey, powered by AWS, which is Amazon something. Powered
by, I think that's like, is that Collinsworth's deal?
Absolutely.
Powered by whatever.
And listen, if you want something powered by something
Pro
else.
Football Focus is Collinsworth's thing, right?
Listen, I'm not getting paid for this. I could be. But if you want something powered by something else, go with AWS. It's good for Chris Collinsworth. It's good for ESPN 690. It's good for Austin Lane. It's good for everybody.
Good endorsement.
AWS, everybody. Check that out. Anyways, Trevor Lawrence, pick number one, off to a great start as usual. No, I mean, that's, any more brain busters. Now we get interesting,
Did we
Brent.
get a trade or did we get an extra pick just for being the Jags?
I don't know if we're doing long division or if this is a trade right now, but he essentially traded up to number 10.
Oh, I see.
With the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And in return, he gave up pick number 25, pick 145, pick 170, and pick 249.
Don't hate it.
I'm not mad at that at all. Now, obviously, the PFF mock draft result says that was a C move. We don't go off PFF for much, okay? Only my grades when I was a 79. I was a 79.7, by the way.
Is that pretty good?
It's been. It could be worse. I mean, it could be worse.
As 79.7 on Madden, is that okay?
No, that's a little low, but PFF is pretty good to go. Listen, so he traded up number 10. Let's see what he does with it. I'm not mad at the picks. You give up your first round 25th pick for the 10th pick and then some back kind of cannon fodder. Not mad at it. Let's see how it worked out for him.
Certainly keeps us away from Matt Bushman by trading away some of those late picks.
Hey, Matt Bushman, we'll see you later, man. Nice knowing you. Pick number 10, Kyle Pitts. Brent, you know how I feel about it, Brent. I mean, what more do you want me to say? Kyle
Can
Pitts.
I be a little critical here?
Okay.
Can I jump in on the criticism?
Sure. Get in here.
It's starting to look like if you have Kyle Pitts even at number 10, you're wishful thinking.
Could be.
He's not going to be there.
Well,
it certainly looks like the way the Dolphins have traded up.
Yeah.
So
Careful.
Just telling you, I mean, there's a better chance of a guy like, in my opinion, Devontae Smith being there at 10 than there is Kyle Pitts. But go on.
Okay, well, Brent, see, this is called shock your mock, not shock my dreams. Because I want Kyle Pitts in Jacksonville. And then now you're trying to turn that on its head and say it's not going to happen.
You've already shocked people's dreams. You stole a T-shirt from somebody and gave others
undersized
wrong size with frayed.
But I don't appreciate,
cutouts.
my co-host and co-creator of Shock Your Mock to kill my dreams now. We're supposed to be on the same team right now,
Kyle
dude.
Pitts, I love it.
Thank you. Do you love it?
I do.
Okay, fantastic. Pick number 33, Jason Owe. Okay, I get it. Guy ran a 4.3. You buying that 4.3, by the way? You buying that 4.3?
Downhill 4.3.
Downhill 4.3?
He's on a slip and slide.
Might have been on a downhill 4.3, but nevertheless, though, this guy is tailor-made for a 3-4 outside linebacker.
Oh, Happy Valley for a reason.
Hey, on fire right now, white hot. Brent Martineau, white hot. This guy is tailor-made for a 3-4 outside linebacker. I love it. You draft him at number 33, not mad at it. All of a sudden, Caleb on Chaison's like, ooh, hey, Leonard, how'd you get out of here again? Because I might be on the way out because Jason Owe's coming. This guy runs a 4.3. I'm a little worried. I like that pick. It's depth. It's not a need. It's depth, but it's exciting depth, especially from a pass rushing perspective. You can never have too many of those. Joe Cullen's calling card, if you will. Just ask him. He drafted me. Pick number 46, Samuel Cosmi. We figured out.
Yep.
Cosmi. Now, once again,
310 pounds.
That's great. You're an offensive lineman. You should be. B+ out of. And once I'm not even going to say these grades that the Pro Football Focus people gave because I don't trust them. I think it's a pyramid scheme. I think it's a scam. Now, by the way, AWS though, powered by AWS. Love that thing. Love what they're doing there. But PFF, Samuel Cosmi, I get it, but I don't get it because to me, once again, this is a luxury pick. You have to ask yourself a serious question right now, Magic fan Ben. You got to ask yourself, is he going to come in and take away a starting spot from Juwan Taylor or a starting spot from Cam Robinson? If you read the draft stuff, probably not. There's going to be some developmental time. The guy's a statue out there. He stands straight up, can get bold. There's going to be some development with Cosmi. And I still want, the 46th pick to maybe contribute right away in some sort of position. So with that being said, I can't come with you on that one. Michael Carter, halfback, North Carolina. We've seen Michael Carter go a lot deeper, Brent. We've seen Michael Carter like in the 80s, 90s, 100s. 65 is kind of risky right now.
A bit of a reach.
You're kind of risking it for the biscuit. And by the way, we got the best biscuit when we talk about James Robinson, okay? And to take a guy at 65 that's not named ETN, that's not named, who's the other guy that we're all about? At least more of a wide receiver, Kadarius Toney. I can't come with you on Michael Carter. So all of a sudden we got, boom, back-to-back bad picks. And now I'm not sure if you're trying to cater to what I'm about in Wisconsin Whitewater, home of the Warhawks, by the way. Shout out to the WIAC conference. Cecil Shorts can say all he wants how Mountain Union's the best conference. I don't even know what conference they play in. The WIAC is the best conference in D3. Don't let Cecil Shorts throw any kind of different narrative into your head. He's running a pyramid scheme just like PFF. So with that being said,
and he's got plenty of family members to do it.
They're all Mountain Union advocates. It's a cult.
He's got like 8 kids now.
Yeah, exactly. He's running a cult over there trying to get into Mountain Union. No, go to Whitewater and win some real championships. Quentin Marinas, this guy made a big name for himself at the Senior Bowl. He rocked the crop top. I think he had a mullet. Just a classic Wisconsin guy. I hope he comes to Jacksonville. I want to interview this guy, Brent. It's like my kinfolk, if you will. But pick 106 for a center. And I'm sorry, Kuz, have we hit the draft need button really yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, but we're taking a guy out of Wisconsin Whitewater at pick 106 and not hitting the draft need button? Interesting. So now we go from Samuel Cosmi, Michael Carter, Quentin Marinas. We're going back to back sucky picks. Back to back Tommy Namsky sucky picks. Congratulations. And then let's go ahead and round out this sucky draft with Tutu Atwell. Not mad at that one. Guy's got speed. Urban Meyer loves speed, but I don't like this. And then especially what I don't like at the end is when it says the overall Jacksonville Jaguars score of Magic or Ben Magic Fan, Jags Magic, whatever it is, his draft grade, A-. No, sir. I give this draft grade an S because you just got shocked. I don't like Michael Carter. I don't like Quinn Marinas. I don't like Tutu Atwell. And I don't like the fact that we're not addressing the safety position. Probably the biggest need right now on this team. Justin Kuzar's been working so hard back there on that draft need alert button, and we couldn't even press it today, sir. What's going on with you, man? Come on, you're better than that.
I have 2 other problems.
Hit me
with
it, Brent.
One is Pro Football Focus, wherever this mock draft came from, brought to you by what?
Oh, that's one. You're talking about the one that's powered by AWS.
Yes, that one.
Holla.
The Jags aren't picking 46. They're picking 45th.
Brent, the trades, though. Oh, for real?
Yeah, but that trade wasn't involved. Doesn't look like it. We have the trade up top. They got the 10 pick, and they gave up the 4 picks.
So, this is obsolete here.
So not only that, Michael Carter, who says halfback anymore? It's a running back.
There's a lot of things I don't like about this.
Does anybody call it a halfback? What is this, 1948?
And having the audacity to give out draft grades like I'm a child. No, I hit the heart. Like, I'm like the Mel Kiper of Shock Your Mock, okay? I don't give you a C. You could get S'd, all right? You got S'd, you
Both
got
have
shocked.
Tremendous hair.
Oh, thank you very much, man. So with that being said, pardon me, I'm getting a little too emotional up in here. I guess you get a T-shirt. I don't know. This is not even real, though. This is Baby Town Frolics. That's what they call it, Baby Town Frolics, because we're not picking at 46. This trade will never happen with Dallas, by the way. And we're not taking a center at pick 106, sir. So Magic Fan Ben, I understand that maybe you're down because the Magic traded away all their picks, but don't bring that negativity to Shock Your Mock. Maybe you get a T-shirt, maybe you don't. That's Brent's call. He's got a whole case of them. We'll see. Not my call, but I'm just saying your mock draft sucks, and you've been shocked.
If you keep taking shirts away from people, I'm going to be wearing these shirts every day.
Oh, trust me, my grandma back home's got a bunch of friends that they can go to. Do you have like you have like size larges that they can sleep in them? I don't care, whatever, man. Just like a bunch of shirts. It's fine. Little nightgown for everybody back home. For all the ladies at the salon, give them some nightgowns.
There you go. Your mock has been shocked. Ben Jags Magic.
Powered by AWS, by the way.
Appreciate it. Poor guy. Jags and Magic. What a tough decade. Whew. I wonder how old he is.
I mean, Does he remember the Shaq and Penny Hardaway days?
I don't know.
I hope so.
Well, we appreciate it. Send in your mock drafts to be shocked all the way up until the draft, and maybe get a T-shirt out of it. It used to be guaranteed to get a T-shirt.
No,
now it's gone to maybe.
You got to earn it, man. You got to earn that T-shirt.
I'll be in touch if you get a T-shirt.
Yeah, and don't threaten me by saying go shock myself, okay? I do the shocking. I don't get shocked. I do the shocking.
You
So
turned
does
it up
Brent.
a notch on a Monday so much that we even had to slander Cecil Shorts, who's a friend of the program.
Yeah, I know. What do you want me to say, man? Shout out to Whitewater, Brent, the WIAC, where they play real football
Wisconsin,
in D3.
Whitewater, or Mount Union. We need a poll.
The Warhawks.
We'll be back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. The latest on Deshaun Watson and more quarterback talk coming up at 5 on this NFL draft now a month away. Bring it on. Bring in Trevor Lawrence. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Defensive lineman Tyson Alualu had a change of heart. He's decided to stay with the Steelers instead of returning back to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though he agreed to a 2-year, $6 million contract, he never actually signed it. And according to sources, the Jags offer is actually better than Pittsburgh's. Florida State had a rough night of it against the number 1 seeded Michigan Wolverines, falling 76-58 in the Sweet 16. Daniel Dash, Michigan beat writer for SB Nation, describes how Michigan overcame Florida State's team.
A lot of what changed was Franz Wagner stepping up and becoming more of a playmaker than anything else. Last year as a freshman, he was really a spot-up three-point shooter. They kind of stashed him in the corner. But over the quarantine, he actually lived with Mo Wagner in Washington, D.C., and the brothers trained together, particularly on their ball handling. It opened so many doors for Michigan's offense, and I think that's really what allowed them to explode in tonight's second half.
The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The biggest names in sports, coming to your mornings.
Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski.
Kevin, there are so many expectations about Baker Mayfield coming into this season, but what impressed you most about him?
One of the things I love about Baker is how he works. He's a gym rat. He grinds. He wants to be great, and he understands that there's no secret. You can't snap your fingers and it just happens.
The biggest names in sports, every morning with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Welcome to Moe's and good morning at Moe's. In St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1, it's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Try it. You'll love it. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. They put the fast in breakfast. Made to order in the drive-thru. Try the Home Wrecker breakfast burrito. Your choice of bacon, chicken, or steak with scrambled eggs, shredded cheese, and seasoned potatoes. Served daily at 6 a.m. St. Augustine location only. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
No matter what you're driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of Fields Auto Group's dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group stores in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Ever wonder why so many people are opening banking accounts at Community First?
Because it's a smart way to move your money around.
Or do anything else you want with it.
And at Community First, you don't have to pretend to be anybody special.
Just be yourself.
You can add a Community First banking account at any branch or on your phone, tablet, or desktop at justbeyourself.com. Community First. Just be yourself.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Are you looking for a venue to celebrate your special occasion that guests can't stop talking about? Call Riverside North Special Events and Banquet Hall. We specialize in anniversaries, weddings, birthday parties, corporate meetings, family reunions, fundraisers, graduations, and funerals. This unique, all-inclusive, full-service venue is the way to go. Call us today at 354-4162 and let us book your next event. All proceeds from bookings benefit the Clara White Mission.
Luke James, actor and musician here. My days keep me moving from project to project, just like all of you, packing 48 hours into a 24-hour day. Dove Men Plus Care Eucalyptus Plus Birch Deodorant celebrates you. Those on the front line and those in the back of the house and all of you in the house. 48 hours of protection keeps you fresh and gives you confidence no matter how much you pack into a day.
Dove Men Plus Care Eucalyptus and Birch Deodorant. 48-hour protection and plant-based moisturizer that cares for your skin. Available now at Walmart and Target.
Vote for this week's ESPN 690 High School Athlete of the Week, presented by Honda of the Avenues. Each week, an athlete with the most votes will be announced on Action Sports Jacks. To vote or nominate your favorite student athlete, go to ESPN690.com or check us out on ESPN 690's Facebook page.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
It was a yearly trip for me that I would go visit NFL camps. I became very close with certain coaches and organizations, and I would go spend time with them. And then the more, when I went to Florida, actually Utah, Florida, Ohio State, and we started getting a lot of players in the NFL. A lot of times I'd go visit them, and I'd talk to them quite frequently, and I was just amazed because if it gave us an edge in whatever, if I was at Ohio State or Florida, I wanted that edge. And guys like Belichick was a guy that became a mentor to me, and I went and visited the Patriots several times. And I would always try to bring something back with me that would help us. And to say that I got something from my friends in the NFL, I got something every time I visit them.
And by the way, that's not just an Urban Meyer thing. I mean, that happens. Like, everybody goes to coaching clinics. High school coaches go to college clinics. College coaches go to NFL clinics. Heck, college coaches might go to high school coaching clinics. That's part of the business. That's Urban Meyer with Peter King. Let's get to the phone real quick before we got to go to the top of the hour. Shock Your Mock lasted a little longer than normal.
Well, what else is new?
That's okay. South Beach Gary, what's up, man?
Hey, guys, how you doing? Boy, some of these drafts, let me just throw three names out, Austin. I'm not going to give you the Jags whole draft, but what about Tony at 25, Devontae Williams, their first pick in the second round, and take Brevin Jordan in the third round?
Devontae Williams, Tony, and Brevin Jordan. I think the Brevin Jordan pick, by the way, would be a good one. To me now, if you get Pitts, Jordan, or Freiermuth, it's like, okay, I feel better just because I know their names.
Did he say Devontae or excuse me, Javonte Williams? Javonte, right? You talked about the guy from UNC, the running back.
Right.
Javonte.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams and Jordan in the third round. Would that be respectable picks?
Well, thanks, South Beach guy. I appreciate it. I mean, you do have to put an official mock draft in, but
this isn't like kind of shock my mock, but don't really. Just like give me like, what do you think about it? Like, hey, I'm just gonna call the show. Like, no, man, this is shock your mock.
I see what's going on here. We're not very bright, but we get it. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna call in next week, South Beach Gary, and give us your other three picks.
Not
like
gonna
in
pull
round
the wool
5,
over
6,
our
and
eyes,
7.
Brent. We're hip to the game, man. Not drinking that kind of
Now,
Kool-Aid.
that being said, I kind of like going offense in all three of those spots.
Okay, so you're all in?
I don't know. Like, I'm not all in.
It's good thing that you're not the shock master. I am.
I'm not all in on Kadarius Toney. Like, I don't love the Kadarius. What I've said about the Kadarius Toney thing is I could see it. I'm going to like it if Urban Meyer likes it, because I think Urban Meyer knows what to do with that guy. He's had that guy in his program in college. So, like, I feel like if that's the one guy he could pick that I'm like, whatever about, that if he picks it, I'm like, I like that.
Hey, you know what the really crazy thing about this whole thing, though, is he asked me and not you.
True.
So, no, I'm just kidding, dude.
But
no, I agree with you.
But I gave out the T-shirts.
Does he want a T-shirt?
Nah.
I think the only guy that could be a little bit of a question is Javonte Williams. Do you risk it in the third round for a running back? Kind of compare him to David Montgomery a little bit. He's got the speed for sure. I'm such a big James Robinson believer, you know, and I guess the third round's a position where you can kind of make a play for him, but I think you can address safety there. You can address some other things that you might probably need a little more than that third down back.
It's like offensive weapons / tight end and edge rusher for some depth and safety feel like kind of that 25, 33, 45, somewhere in there that you need to get, or even 65. If you got to check some of those boxes there, or I don't feel that
well,
good.
and I also think Williams goes in the second round. And if that's the case, I'm not going to take him in the second round.
He was talking second round.
Oh,
because the Jags have 33 and 45 in the second round.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the third round.
Yeah,
and probably
33 and 45.
Yeah, I don't know about that then.
Yeah, I mean, you might be reaching for a little bit of that anyway at 33.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not.
All right. That's the last freebie that we do.
That's it. That was partial.
We're out of freebies.
You get an arm sleeve.
This isn't Costco. You don't get freebies.
It's
okay?
just Austin's
Pay
face
for what
on
you
the
order.
shirt.
No freebies.
We'll be back. Football at 5, ESPN 690. What's going on with Deshaun Watson? Where does Mac Jones end up? A lot to get to here on ESPN 690.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue, and it is at Willie Jewell's in St. Augustine at Mirabella Crossing. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Voted best wings in St. Augustine as well. Visit williejewels.com and visit Willie Jewell's at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
I'm I'm Malfreda Boney, founder and CEO of Perfectly Suited Career Consulting. I'm proud to be a Jacks Chamber member and to serve on the advisory board of the Jacksonville Women's Business Center. The JWBC is innovating and adapting, embracing the digital transformation to serve more women in Northeast Florida. For example, we are launching the Network of Trust program that will mentor and vet female business owners, preparing them to take the next step as a company. For more information, visit jackschamberfoundation.org.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance is smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
A healthier you is the first step toward a healthy baby. When planning a pregnancy, baby steps toward better health can deliver big results. Exercising regularly and eating a balanced diet will help you reach or maintain a healthy weight and increase the likelihood of a healthy baby. Taking a multivitamin containing folic acid every day helps prevent birth defects, and regular medical and dental checkups are especially important when planning for pregnancy. To learn more about taking your baby steps toward a healthy pregnancy, call Florida's Family Health Line at 1-800-451-2229.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 3 new lawsuits accusing Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson of sexual assault and inappropriate conduct have been filed, including one that claims he's deleting Instagram messages and contacting the women who formerly provided him massages in an attempt to settle those cases. Watson's attorney said the QB has not deleted any Instagram messages over the last 2 weeks and categorically denies his client contacted any of the women directly. A pair of Elite Eight matchups in the men's NCAA tournament tonight. Houston and Oregon State meet for one Final Four spot, then Baylor versus Arkansas for another spot in the national semis. The Razorbacks need a certain game plan to have a chance against that tough Bears defense, notes ESPN's Seth Greenberg.
Once they move the ball and move the defense by cutting and getting the ball reversed, then they can attack. One thing I worry about with Arkansas, they get a little caught up in one-on-one basketball. They can't get it caught up in the one-on-one battles. What they got to do is collectively attack this Baylor defense, get the ball reversed, move the ball, move people, then attack.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Trevor Lawrence, how well do you know the guy?
Trevor, I know okay. I can't say I'm that close with him. We've had some phone calls, like we've had other draftable players. I know his coach very well. I've been close with Dabo Swinney for many, many years, and I mean, like, really close. And I know Jordan Palmer, the guy that's training him out west. So I know a lot about Trevor. I've seen him play live several times, and obviously, like a lot of us, he's been on television so much. So I can't say I know him that well, but I know him. He checks all the boxes, and the number one common quality of every great player, not just quarterback, is competitive maniac. He's 34-2, won a national title as a true freshman, and is a winner.
That is Urban Meyer with Peter King over the weekend on Trevor Lawrence. Not afraid to tip his hand. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 1 in this year's NFL draft. And we started the show talking a little bit about Trevor Lawrence, talking about Urban Meyer and some of the transparency that he's had, but also about Lawrence not going to Cleveland for the draft. And also about Trevor Lawrence watching the draft at Clemson instead of in his hometown of Cartersville. which is maybe interesting, but I mean, who knows what they're going to do, what's going to be like. I picture it being very low-key at Clemson, and I think that's kind of what Trevor Lawrence wants. I think that's him. I think he likes to kind of go to the local diner and sit in the back corner and eat.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've learned about Trevor Lawrence as we've tracked him now for the last couple of months. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here on a Monday. More NFL quarterback draft talk in just a moment with some of these other guys, with Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and Mac Jones especially. And I also want to ask, who's the most interesting team in the NFL draft?
Mm-hmm.
But I got to start with Deshaun Watson, man. Again, here we are. I was reading more things about Deshaun Watson. I think now the lawsuits are up to 18. Now there's, this public back and forth, which is that what the opposition to Watson wants? They want to kind of let it out there and let everybody, whether you want to believe it or not believe it, make your own opinions. But in our society, anytime something's alleged, it's almost guilty before proven innocent.
Sure.
It's just kind of the way it goes. And especially when you have this amount of lawsuits, this amount of encounters.
Yeah.
But from a football standpoint, since we don't know a lot about the rest of it, and who knows when that will be figured out, other than this back and forth that keeps going on, believe who you want to believe, I think what's now for sure is he's not getting traded. I don't think he's going anywhere except staying in Houston. And so I have this simple question of, is he going to play football for the Houston Texans in the fall? And as you think about that question, you have a couple of ways to go about it. One, could there potentially be a suspension in the NFL as they look at what's going on? Two, he's the one that said he's never playing for him again.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't get traded, will he say, well, I want to play football? So as it sits now, I mean, you can come at this from a bunch of different ways, but do you think Watson's playing football for the Houston Texans in the fall in the AFC South, no matter which way you want to go after this?
So there's a lot of roads you can travel down to come to this answer because we don't know everything, obviously. Only Deshaun Watson and the accusers know the truth right now. Now, we'll see what happens in the up-and-coming days and up-and-coming weeks. But with Deshaun Watson, you've been very adamant about saying that you don't want to play for the Houston Texans, and I believe him. And I think he has the agent that would definitely facilitate, by any means necessary, saying you're not taking a rep in a game for the Houston Texans. We'll do what we need to do. We saw it with Jalen Ramsey. With that being said, and once again, only Deshaun Watson really knows this. If he's found guilty in any of these charges, then you're suspended, at least, if not more. So if you're suspended, there's no way you're going to sit out this season and then try to come back next year and say, all right, someone trade for me, let's go. No one's going to trade for you if you're suspended, right? Yeah. So let's say that Deshaun Watson opts out, like I think he's going to, pending this legal stuff right now. But I said if he's going to stay in Houston, he's going to opt out. He's going to say, you know what? I have enough money. I'll put you guys all in. I'm going to say I'm going to opt out. I'm not taking a rep for you guys. And then you can figure out next year then. And we can do the same song and dance next year. Good luck to you. So find a replacement for a year, and then we'll do the same thing next year again. I don't think Houston wants that. I don't think Deshaun Watson really wants that, but I think he would take it to that point just to try to prove that, hey, I'm a man of my word. I am who I am, and I'm willing to bite the bullet and sit out. But now with these new allegations and everything, this is a different – there's more tentacles to this now. And we already know that no team in the right mind will trade for Deshaun Watson. So take that off the books right now.
Yeah, the Jets, right?
It's not happening.
It's
not happening.
San Francisco, right?
It's
maybe
not
that's
happening.
why San Francisco, by the way, maybe even moved up in the draft, said, hey, all right, we were thinking about trading for Watson, but now we're not doing that, so bam, we're going up.
That's very well a possibility. But there is no team right now, I don't care how desperate you are, in the right mind that's trading for Deshaun Watson. And the way that we've seen these things play out in the past in terms of these accusations, now we haven't seen this many before. This is insane.
Yeah.
We 18. That's insane, man. Okay? Now, once again, we'll see if he's guilty or innocent, but I'm just saying 18 accusations, that's going to take a long time. Okay? And it's not just something we can settle out of court one day and it's over. No, like this isn't just going to blow by you in one day. You're going to deal with this for a long, long time. So, once again, it comes down to Deshaun Watson to say, well, are you innocent or not? He knows the answer to this. I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to say he is or he's not. Only he knows, and maybe the accusers know as well. Only he knows the answer. So if he chooses to sit out and opt out, he's taking a big risk, because if he's found guilty, like I just said, then teams don't want him when he's suspended. But if he's found innocent and all these 18 accusations, they're all, fabrications or whatever, well, then you can still sit out, So, like, to me, what Watson decides to do here is going to be very telling whether or not he's guilty or innocent, which is kind of ironic in a way.
Yeah, I think what this started with this clash between Houston and Watson, his agent in the middle of it. They want out. The conversation piece 2 months ago was, hey, usually the players get what they want. Where's he going to go? Is he going to go to New York? That makes some sense. Miami, will they make a trade? Number 3 pick. They have some capital. San Francisco. Could Indianapolis? Could all these teams? Denver, Carolina, you name it. All these teams. And now I think it just kind of hit me over the weekend. I think we were trending this way when we talked about it even last week, but it kind of hit me. It's like these teams aren't even planning as that being an option.
No.
Like now this has reached a height where that's not even an option. And so much so that I would say even Deshaun Watson himself and his agent, the idea that I don't want to play for Houston anymore and my battle with them, that's on the back burner, man. Like, that's like secondary.
You may never play again, man. You might have to take what you can get.
We'll figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Because, listen, like you said, if he's innocent, then he's sitting there and he wants to clear his name because he's getting dragged through the mud right now.
Sure.
If he's not innocent, he's got bigger fish to fry down the road because the NFL, a lot of dollars, potentially, more than just a civil suit comes into play. So
he may never play again, Brent, honestly. If these accusations come out to be true, he may never play again.
And so think about that, right? I mean, think about where this has gone from the start. This was like a battle between player empowerment a little bit and team. And I don't want to play for you anymore, even though I've got this big contract, and people wrestle with both sides of that. And now it's come to the point where you can actually ask that question, if true, does he play football again in the NFL? And he's only like 7 years old? Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable with it. I don't know if we fully just sat back and absorbed all this, how big the Watson story was and now is, and we all just don't know the ending to the book here.
And I'll be honest, I don't know. Once again, we'll see how this all plays out in the weeks and the months to come. But like with this hanging over your head, and let's say that you choose to stay in Houston and play, you going to play football with this hanging over your head right now? And once again, maybe it's all discovered before the season starts, but this is a pretty heavy thing here. And, like, regardless of how this turns out, because let's be honest, there's one of two things that are going to happen. It's either going to be like the biggest, quote-unquote smear campaign of all time, where they try to assassinate someone's character and Deshaun Watson's innocent. And it's like, we're talking about this in media for weeks and weeks to come because, what's the next target going to be?
That's right.
Or this guy's got serious issues, and it's really unprecedented from, and once again, like all these, anytime this allegation comes out, it's serious. But I'm just saying, from the role of Deshaun Watson being the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans, being in the news, being a top 5 quarterback in the league, and really being a face of a franchise, if this was to come out, like that's a big story on the other side of it. So this whole thing's not going to end without being a very interesting and a very long, drawn-out story.
Well, this to sum up your point, this is a story right now that we're talking about on sports shows. People across America are talking about on sports shows. ESPN's talking about. It's like, how does it impact the draft? How does it impact Houston, his relationship with the team? How does this impact football? If it's true and these allegations come to fruition and are correct, this becomes like a national news story that you see on the morning shows, the evening news shows, not just the sports shows. Yeah. That's the point of it. That's how big it would be. And you get to a point now where you're starting to wonder, is Houston kind of mad at themselves for not shopping him earlier, like a month and a half ago?
Well,
Do they now wish they had shopped him?
Yeah. Wash their hands of it.
And by the way, in the middle of all this is still the folks that believe there's some conspiracy going on, that it's Houston. But
Can we put that? I mean, listen, I don't know 100%. Obviously, I can't sit here and say I know for sure. But let's just be honest. Do you think the Houston Texans were so worried about losing Deshaun Watson or him not playing that they decided, hey, we're going to bring 18 women forward and say, can you make up a story? Oh, and by the way, it's going to be a sexual assault, case and stuff like that, which is very serious in this country, as it should be. And by the way, if he's found guilty, or maybe if he's not even found guilty, but it's going to be a distraction for weeks and weeks and weeks to come, and that's going to be our quarterback going forward. There is no way Houston would try to do this. You're shooting yourself in the face if you think that you can fabricate 18 women to come out and say, he did this to me, and not have it blow up in your face. There's no way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because I'm a big conspiracy theory fan. I kind of think, how could this have happened? There are things, and let's just be perfectly frank with everybody. There are things that teams cover up, or teams say they know what's going on, but they kind of all right, let's take care of this behind closed doors. We'll take care of it.
Sure.
Or let them take care of it, but we're not going to let this out. This isn't going to get out. Let's do all the best we can. Did the possibility that Houston knew of an event but didn't know there were 18 of them?
Yeah.
Could that exist? That Houston would let something out, be like, hey, this is going to log him up. It's going to put him in a log jam, that we're going to keep him. And it will eventually take care of itself. But then all of a sudden, the phone kept ringing at that lawyer's office. I got another one. I got another one. I got another one. I don't know. That's super. I'm just trying to play as crazy down the conspiracy theory list as I can.
I get what you're saying, man, but I just think that
it'd be one heck of a movie.
Yeah. If you're trying to accuse somebody of sexual assault and you're a football team trying to, there's different ways to go about it, man. To me, you just don't go down that road.
Yeah. I think Watson this offseason now, the way. We were talking about a 30 for 30 on this offseason, and we don't even know how it ends. We're not even halfway, maybe to the halfway point of it.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, it's like I said, regardless of how this ends, it's going to be crazy.
It's
going to be a crazy ending.
To switch from that to this, because I think the team that I'm thinking about plays into this a little bit. And not in a negative way for the team, but I think it's another swing and a miss potential. Who is, we've asked this question, and I think Mac Jones is really the most interesting player in the draft. I started to say today, now with Justin Fields starting to slip to maybe that fifth quarterback off the board, I start wondering if he's the most interesting quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's the most interesting team in the first round of the draft? And you probably would think around top 10, top 12, top 15. Miami's already become an interesting team because it went from 3 to 12, now back up to 6.
Yep.
San Francisco, very interesting team. Listen, I can list them for you if you want, but the teams.
For sure.
Who do you think is the most fascinating team?
You said this in the email, and I definitely agreed with you. The first thing that kind of came to mind, just because given the regime that's in there now, and given they're kind of ready to take the next step, but the Carolina Panthers definitely stick out to me. I'm sure like they do to you. They're an interesting team for sure. I think Atlanta could be a little bit of an interesting team because Atlanta's a team where the offense isn't really the problem. You have a high-powered offense. Matt Ryan still had a pretty good year last year. Now, keep in mind, Julio Jones was hurt a little bit. You have Julio Jones coming back, Calvin Ridley. Do you go all in right now, or do you get the quarterback for the future possibly as well? So, the Falcons could be interesting to me, but definitely I think number one is the Panthers, and 2B, 2A. I think I'm going the Broncos and then the Falcons.
Yeah, I think I did put Carolina.
Yeah.
The reason I think Carolina is so interesting, because I think if you sat there in Carolina's shoes as they're making moves 2 months ago, 3 months ago, they fired their GM, rules in his second year. They're trying to create cap space for free agency, trying to figure out how do we speed this thing up.
Yeah.
And I think they're thinking, all right, well, let's shoot 5 quarterbacks we like in the draft. We're picking 8th. That's a great spot. They got all this talent on the outside, and they got Kyle Pitts. And by the way, we got Jimmy Garoppolo might be moving places. Carson Wentz might be moving places. Deshaun Watson might be moving places. Who else has moved? Heck, can we make a play for a Kirk Cousins? Goff and Stafford, right? So you're looking at all these things. Darnold is still, Goff, Stafford, gone. Garoppolo looks like he's staying. Wentz goes to Indianapolis. Okay, that's 4 of those guys off the board. Where's Sam Darnold going? I don't know. Cousins, he's not going anywhere. Watson's in a whole lot of trouble. We can't go after him.
No.
Now, San Francisco moves up to number 3. Trevor Lawrence is off the board. Probably Zach Wilson's off the board. Probably Trey Lance and Mac Jones off the board with Atlanta picking number 4. Wait a minute now. I'm not saying we're stuck, but now we're to a point where we have to do something drastic with another team in the NFL. Sam Darnold-esque kind of move if you want to go after him. But isn't he kind of like, are we really upgrading Sam Darnold if we already have Teddy Bridgewater? Or do we like Justin Fields? But what if one of these other teams in the first round, like Denver, moves up ahead of and goes to like number 5 or 6 because they like Justin Fields? What if Washington finds its way a little higher because they want to get their next quarterback? What if the Patriots like one of these guys and move up? Now there's only one guy out there outside of that top 5, and it's going to cost us a fortune in draft capital too. We might have to move up from number 8. We were thinking of moving up 8-3 anyway. We might have to move up 8-4 or 8-5 just to get our guy. And who's going to do that? Is Cincinnati going to back out of the 5 hole when they could miss out on Sewell or Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase or one of those guys? The Dolphins moved back up to 6 because they want one of those guys. So now I'm Carolina, and I'm like, what am I doing? I had all these options at number 8 where we were pretty satisfied at plan A, plan B, plan C, heck, probably plan D. Now we might only have a plan A or a plan B, and that's it. And we might have to still keep our fingers crossed on that. I think this is fascinating right now if you're Carolina and what they're going to do to try to speed things up in this build under Matt Rule. And I'll give you the other part of this for Carolina. They paid a lot of money to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, what I would call right now, as good as he's been, is in the prime of his career. He's a running back. You don't get a lot of time. So
he's
how
been
do
hurt,
you?
though, remember?
Yeah, he did get hurt. So how do you capitalize on the time frame you have, that window you have with one of the most dynamic players in the game, in Christian McCaffrey? Or are you willing to part ways with him, perhaps with the Jets or something like that, to go get your future quarterback? Man. I mean, those are the conversations that have to be taking place up in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I think Carolina is fascinating, but could come up Zippo on all fronts. They could be sitting there with all quarterbacks off the board, nobody to trade for after the draft, and they still get a nice player, by the way. They could end up with Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase or even a Kyle Pitts, but they don't get kind of whatever they thought they were going to get way back in December and January, picking in the top 10.
No, you're not lying. And then, Mac Jones, I don't know. Like you said, Mac Jones is the wild card right now. Can he fall out of the top 10? Possibly. But it's a risk. I don't know. And I'm not turned off by the idea of Teddy Bridgewater either. I think he's a suitable quarterback. I don't want to call him a game manager because you know how quarterbacks are about that. I think he's better than a game manager, but no, he's not going to be the long-term solution in Carolina. So do you just roll with Teddy Bridgewater for another year? I mean, you're absolutely right. The Carolina Panthers have a lot of questions right now. And a lot of it, pending that they don't move up or they don't make a play here, is you just got to let it fall to you. And letting it fall to you, the franchise and the future of that organization can go in various directions.
All right, let's hit the happy hour horn here on a Friday before we get to another break, and still got a lot more football to talk about. Happy hour horn time on a Monday.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good vibes.
It's a celebration!
Vida de Luis, check it out at VitaDeLuis.com, where you can get a bottle of Blanco and Añejo Reposado. Try Vida de Luis, a taste of the islands in every drop. Made in Tequila, Mexico. Shipped right here to Jacksonville Beach, locally owned in Jacksonville Beach. The only tequila company owned in Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis. Check them out. VitaDeLuis.com. Taste of the islands in every drop. Got a couple other interesting stories to get to. We haven't got to the NCAA tournament yet. There's Elite Eight, Florida State. How disappointing is that game last night? You lose to a top seed. That can't be that disappointing. But the way they played in the NCAA tournament, now that expectations seemingly have risen in Tallahassee thanks to their recent success. We'll talk a little bit about it.
I'm not mad at my mascot bracket right now.
Your mascot bracket looking okay?
I have USC winning the whole thing. So,
wow. You could I mean, you are probably doing better than in your mascot bracket than you are in your real bracket. Like, I did better in my mascot bracket in the first round than I did in my real bracket. But
Okay, but
it
now it's
hasn't
balancing
followed
out.
through
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, no, I'm doing better in my mascot bracket for sure.
Very interesting. All right,
Yeah.
we'll talk a little hoops. Do want to have a thought or two more on these quarterbacks coming up in the NFL draft. We'll get to that on the way. And maybe the oddest shoes ever made?
They're up there. They're definitely up there. And,
Yeah.
and Trevor Lawrence is front and center.
Yeah, he jumped in on the conversation. We talk about it. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Some clouds moving in overnight along with some fog as we drop into the upper 50s. Tuesday will be partly to at times mostly cloudy, scattered showers, but warmer with highs near 80 degrees. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years zero-interest financing with nothing down.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day. CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options and financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it. Because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do. With all that convenience comes reduced fees too. In fact, the average Rex homeowner saves over $10,000 when buying and selling a home. Want to get started? It's never too soon. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. 833-739-4663. Florida license number CQ1057788. For further licensing disclosures, please visit rexhomes.com.
Ever finally get around to trying something and it's so much better than you expected, where you're mentally kicking yourself for not doing it sooner, or wondering where it's been your whole life? That's how Griffin customers feel about their Florida-rated AC. They even tell me,
we're never going back to regular AC.
And it's the same for our Florida-rated water heaters, too. It's so much better, our customers wonder why no one told them about it before. Well, we fix what others can't. Tired of having to run a shower or faucet for 3 minutes before you actually get hot water? We can fix that.
Nice.
Tired of Jacksonville's swampy hard water hurting your appliances and hair? We can fix it.
Naturally.
Tired of a tank water heater going bad every 5 to 8 years or running out of hot water?
Yep.
Griffin can fix that big time.
Oh, yeah. I never knew I could have hot water as soon as I turn on the tap.
And my hair could be so much healthier. And my appliances can last longer.
Well, you can, but only if you call
GriffinService.com.
1430-261-1250-697.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche.
Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com. Where else can you get lunch and brunch and booze and specials? Only one place, at Colehane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. ColehanesIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new Five Sisters vodka at happy hour. Lunch and brunch and booze and specials and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Colehane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, we appreciate it. But your boss has you working from home this week, so take us with you. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Austin Lane.
The beer that made Milwaukee famous. Giannis Antetokounmpo, big sign, the deer that made Milwaukee famous.
Brent Martineau.
I can buy that.
Yeah, okay. That's all I'm throwing out there.
I can definitely buy that.
Hashtag and trademark. So if somebody try to steal it, I'm suing you.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Those teams weren't better offensively than this team. This team is freakish offensively. How they score, the number of playmakers they have, the number of floor gamers they have, the number of shot makers they have. They might not be physically as tough and dominating as maybe those teams. They don't have the mountain masquerading as a man. But what they do have is incredible skill. Every time Kispert shoots it, you think it's going in. Andrew Nembhard, the transfer from Florida, gives him a guy to take some pressure off of Suggs. Suggs, talk about a two-way player. Suggs is the number 1 pick in the draft.
That's the old, gosh, who is that? That's Seth Greenberg. It's the old Virginia Tech coach.
Seth Greenberg, guy. Right. Is that a point?
Yeah, it should be. That's a heck of a pull right there.
Casey's at a point?
Thumbs up for Casey.
You give him a thumbs down, Casey. It's not a big deal. Well, we're still learning here. Relax, everybody. Relax, everybody.
By the way, that talk was about Gonzaga.
Yeah.
They're good.
They're good. I'm just saying, let's not get too attached, though, because Gonzaga finds a way to break your heart every single year. I'm just saying. Don't get too attached, Brent. I know that's you have them winning it, right?
Well, I actually had Texas winning it.
Oh, that's
but
about that.
I'm certainly okay with them winning it.
Yeah, I'd want to see it for sure.
How disappointing is Florida State? One other note, by the way, Andrew Nembhard from Florida transfer is at Gonzaga. JT Note used to be at JU.
Yep.
Is at Arkansas.
Okay.
So 2 former local players, if you will, jumped in the portal and are in the Elite 8. Good decisions by them.
Absolutely. Shout out to you guys.
Florida State loses big to Michigan. Michigan's very good.
Playing a good brand of basketball.
Michigan
right
might
now.
have the chance to beat Gonzaga. They're really good.
Yeah.
Is it a failure of a season, Sweet 16 for Florida State? I mean, is that where we're at now, the major disappointment that they lost in the Sweet 16?
I mean, there's going to be some disappointment because expectations were so high for Florida State. But Michigan right now, and like I said, they're playing at an extremely high level. It wasn't really a competitive game, let's be honest. Michigan just had their number. I don't think it's that much of a disappointment because we've seen this year, if anything, this year's been really weird, right? Like Duke's not in the tournament. There's a lot of teams out there that look great on paper that it makes sense where they go far, and it just didn't happen. And maybe Florida State's one of those teams, but I'm not ready to sell Florida State down the river over this tournament being different than every other tournament ever before.
Yeah, here's my problem here's why I would say Florida State fan. I don't think you can be that disappointed you lose to a number 1 seed. I mean, Michigan's really good. They come from the best conference in America, and they're the best team in that conference, arguably. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Illinois, very good too.
Yeah.
So, but you look around, 1 seed out, Illinois, right? 2 seeds, Iowa, 2 seed, who just fell in the 2 seed? Somebody else last night?
Arkansas,
UCLA beat,
I'm sorry,
Alabama.
Yeah, hello.
It's the nature of the tournament.
Yeah.
And you're a 4 seed, and you probably should have been a 4 seed the way the ACC is this year. Maybe you could have said you could be a 3, but you're probably right. you're seated correctly, I think. And you have to face Michigan, and Michigan better than you on that day, and they might be better than you just about every day. I mean, they're a really good team. So I would just be a little bit disappointed a lot of bit disappointed in the way I played in the tournament. I don't think they played very well in the first game. In fact, they didn't hit a three-pointer. They became I think, the first team since 2014 Kentucky to win an NCAA tournament game without hitting a three-pointer. They played better in the second game, but not great, in my opinion. They played better. So I thought they were due to have a big game, and that's why I kind of liked them to maybe upset Michigan. But they did it again. They didn't hit a three-pointer in the first half. They went 5 for 20 from downtown, and they just couldn't get in sync. So I would be disappointed the way you played. I don't think, if I'm a Florida State fan, I didn't see my team play not even close to their best game. Like, I didn't even see them play well in the tournament, even though they won a couple of games. That would be my level of disappointment.
Absolutely. And I thought I was under the narrative that Michigan was going to kind of maybe come out cold from having, a extended period off. But Michigan was the same Michigan that we saw pretty much this entire tournament. And they're a team that should be taken seriously for sure now. I get everyone's, the Big Ten. Okay. But Michigan's playing a pretty good brand of basketball right now. You got to watch out for.
And I love it, man. This is what we get every time. And Leonard Hamilton they got outcoached. They got out this. Juwan Howard's doing an unbelievable job in Michigan. But we can't, I said this to somebody yesterday. When you have a bad day, you're not a good example here because you don't really have bosses. You haven't really had them. I mean, now you do kind of, but you don't really. But if you work like a 9-to-5 job,
sure,
and you had a bad day, does everybody just blame the boss for their bad day? Sometimes it is the boss's fault, right? Yelled at you or whatever.
Yeah.
But does automatically do you just blame the boss? Because I feel like that's where we are in sports. Florida State didn't play well. Oh, Leonard Hamilton got his butt whooped. Didn't coach well. He's terrible. See, out coached, out this, out that. Listen, you went 5 for 20 from three-point land. You hit 40% of your shots. You got out-hustled, out-worked, out-rebounded. I mean, they were better than you.
Yeah, but if you get out-hustled and out-rebounded, that can come down to coaching.
It can. I understand. Listen, coaching's a factor, but this was on the heels of – I actually was just watching – for some reason it was on the Sports Office, and I said this Bruce Arians in Tampa, they replayed I don't even know why it was on NFL Network in the office, but it was toward the end. They replayed it. They replayed the press conference, and when they're getting the Lombardi Trophy, and Arians is like, "This is all about the staff and the players. I did nothing. This was all the players."
Yeah.
But it's just so funny. It's like, hey, you win. The coach is sitting there and he'll say, "It's all the players. I didn't do a thing. This wasn't me." And then as soon as somebody loses, the fan wants to be like, "Oh, the coach sucks. Damn, that was the coach's fault. Nope, those 5 guys, those 8 guys that play, didn't matter. They didn't hit a shot." I watched Loyola play the other day. Loyola missed so many shots. They got good shots. They missed the shots.
Yeah,
that's why they lost the game. They didn't play bad defense. I didn't think they got out-coached. They missed the shots. If they had hit 3 shots, they would have maybe won the game.
Sure.
But they didn't. And sometimes you just don't make the shots. Now, I'm not saying Leonard Hamilton coached the best game of his life, but I think it's a flaw in fandom. We just automatically go, boom, right to the coach.
No, anytime you have a talented team and the team doesn't reach expectations, then it falls on the coach because you didn't get the best out of your players. That's why fans all the time want to say it's the coach's fault. Because you see the talent on the floor, you've seen the talent before, and then all of a sudden for a game, you don't get the maximum talent that you're accustomed to seeing. And when you don't see the maximum talent you're accustomed to seeing, it's that falls on coaching because the coach's job is to bring the best out of their players. That's why fans got such a problem with it.
Yeah, and have them playing the best at the right time, all that stuff. Listen, I'm not absolving Leonard Hamilton. The narrative of it just gets tired to me. It's just quickly
some people think
on the coach. But anyway, Florida State will be back. You know why? Now I'm confident they'll be back. Sure. Because I didn't know they'd be this good this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida State's to the point now where it's just okay, now you expect it. But I will say this. When you have raised the expectation, when you raise the standard, which is an awesome thing to do, one thing is you got to push that standard even higher and farther, and that means you have to win big eventually. You do have to do that. You got to go to a Final Four. Last year might have been the year, and they got kind of denied that by the whole pandemic. But you got to get there. You got to do that. That's part of the thing with Gonzaga. Gonzaga's from Cinderella to now this standard that they set that you're almost okay, guys, you're great. You're an unbelievable story of the last 2 decades. But you haven't won one.
Yeah.
You haven't won one. You're not the real deal story until you win one. Gonzaga's facing that this year. And by the way, they might be good enough just to do it anyway.
We shall see.
They are In my opinion, I mean, just watching them they're fun to watch. They look like they're playing with NBA guys, like 5 NBA guys on the floor.
They're good.
With their guard plays. Nebard's such a big guy anyway. The way they can beat in the paint, they're so controlled.
Yeah.
Their body control on drives to the basket and their efficiency is just ridiculous. Oregon State, Houston, who do you like tonight?
Ooh, give me the Ducks. I'm sorry, no, the Beavers. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Beavers.
And by the way, in the broadcast the other day, they kept saying Oregon. Like on a couple of times, they'd be like Oregon. I was like, hey, folks, the folks that out there don't like you saying Oregon.
Is it Oregon?
It's Oregon State.
Oh, Oregon State. My bad.
I mean, like you wouldn't say State. I forget if it was the analyst or whoever. Like, you better say Oregon State. I bet they're getting phone calls. I kind of like Oregon State. I can't believe they've been this far of a run. I like Houston tonight. Arkansas, Baylor. Could be good. You like Baylor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'm rooting for Baylor. There's another story that'd be nice with to cap it off.
Yep.
Houston's going to get after Oregon State. I think that Houston game's not going to be that close. They're another one that I don't think they've played great yet, and this might be a great game. And Oregon State's going to, be the victim of that. We'll see what happens. How about this shoe thing?
Yes.
With Lil Nas X and Trevor Lawrence jumped in on the tweet. Give us the background. You're better at this than me.
Well, and Kuz can definitely help us out too as well with Lil Nas X. But okay, so first of all, Trevor, far be it from me to give you advice about how to handle your social media. Because once again, you're a lot better person than I ever will be. All right? Trevor Lawrence, they call him, you know what they call him in Better Homes and was it Better Homes and Gardens or Southern Living? I think it was Southern Living.
Southern Living? I think so.
He's a baby whisperer, right? Like, babies seem to love Trevor Lawrence. Not even joking. Like, that was an article in Southern Living. Babies see me, they learn how to walk real quick and run away from me, okay? Because I'm intimidating, Brent. But when we're talking about Trevor Lawrence's social media use, you're going to learn real quick, man. There's two things that if you post on social media, regardless of how great your intentions are, regardless of what your upbringing is, there's two things where you post on social media that you will always get blowback from. Politics, religion. Okay? Trevor Lawrence chose to post about the latter, and that being religion. Now, to set the scene real quick, Lil Nas X, Brent, we know him from Old Town Road, right? I think he was a big contributor to the show a couple times. We played a song, Old Town Road.
Yeah,
right?
I think everybody's played the song.
It was all the talk. And you know how I felt about it. Oh, I was never a fan of Old Town Road.
No.
It was my song that I had to walk out to in the LFA, and I got knocked out because of it. Didn't get knocked out, but I got stitches because of that song.
Yeah. That's all because of the song.
That was the fight in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Lil Nas X, by the way, is like singing this song with elementary school kids.
He is. Now,
I don't think he's trotting out these shoes with elementary kids.
Well, no, but let's hang on. See, now, I'm glad you brought that up, though. Yes, he's singing with elementary kids. Look at the lyrics, though. Not the best song.
Yeah, true.
He's singing to elementary kids.
Yeah.
So parents, let's do a better job. Now, you take Old Town Road. Well,
that comes from a parent who was rooting for as many stitches as possible for his kid the other day.
Well, that's true, too. So we take Old Town Road, and now let's go ahead and elevate it to the nth degree. And let's talk about the new one, Call Me By Your Name. Okay? The music video is super aggressive. I'll just leave it at that. Okay? And to market the music video, which I guess reached a record on Spotify and all this stuff, he put out these shoes. Now, they're Nike shoes, but Nike's got nothing to do with these, right? The way it works in the shoe game is, if you're a sneakerhead, yeah, you take a pair of Jordans, but then a company will take those Jordans and then put their own twist on it. And that's when you see the exclusive, the offers and everything like that. So when we talk about these sneakers, well, in accordance to the music video, let's just say that they're very geared towards devil worshiping, okay? They're releasing 666 of them. They're black and red. There's a Bible verse on there that talks about Lucifer. And if that wasn't enough for you, there's people's blood in the shoes, right? They're
actual human blood.
I think it was 60 cc's of blood in each shoe, which I don't know how much cc's even is, Brent. But
it features a bronze pentagram charm, an inverted cross,
there
and
it is.
Actual human blood.
There it is.
Satan's shoes is what they're called.
Now, people made the mistake in saying, well, Nike, how could Nike support? Nike had nothing to do with this.
They've tried to distance themselves.
Nike's
in fact,
now
they may sue the...
Oh, guess what? Yeah. Lil Nas X about to be in some trouble, okay? Might just be X when they take his name away. We'll see. Nike's that powerful. But with that being said, Brent, if you're Trevor Lawrence, man, and I understand, you're a man of faith. You've been a man of faith since you're a freshman on campus, since I talked about it before. Guy didn't want to go party, so he joined like this church group, and then he became religious after it. More power to you, man. I'm all for it. I understand that a lot of people got a problem with the sneakers, and if you want to speak out about them, that's fine. But if you're Trevor Lawrence, you got to realize real quick, man, if you start speaking about religion, however you feel about it, people are going to have an issue with it.
Yeah, and my take on him, he tweeted, by the way, line has to be drawn somewhere, shake my head.
Yeah.
And by the way, I actually have no problem with him tweeting about it. If you believe what what you believe and tweet, I don't think he was pushing it on anybody. It's just a belief of his, this is too far.
Sure.
So I don't have a problem with him tweeting about it. But your point is, get ready for the backlash, right?
Well,
because
it's coming,
anytime you do, we know it. In the world we live in, too. We try to avoid politics and religion because we know you ain't winning that.
Yeah.
There's going to be both ends of it.
Yeah.
And so, but if you're willing to put yourself out there, I think it actually says maybe a little bit more about Trevor Lawrence was very active in the Black Lives Matter movement.
No, for sure.
Obviously, this from a religious standpoint and COVID as well, and let us play.
Yeah.
so he's not afraid to put himself out there as my point.
No, it's good, but just get ready for the blowback, man. Because this is artistry and it's music, Brent. This has been going on forever. People thought Bowie was a Satanist, David Bowie. Every generation has their Lil Nas X, right? For me, it was Marilyn Manson. Don't listen to Marilyn Manson albums because the guy believes in, the devil. Columbine was because of Marilyn Manson. People can put these narratives and hate on it, and that's fine. That's your opinion. That's your prerogative. But I'm just saying, from Trevor Lawrence's perspective, man, you got to watch what you say about religion and politics because there's going to be a backlash whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and my guess is he's smart enough to know that and then said, I feel strongly about it. I'm going to put it out there.
More power to you. Just get ready for the blowback.
Yep. We'll be back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Back to football to finish the show on a Monday.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Defensive lineman Tyson Alualu had a change of heart. He's decided to stay with the Steelers instead of returning back to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though he agreed to a 2-year, $6 million contract, he never actually signed it. And according to sources, the Jags offer is actually better than Pittsburgh's. Florida State had a rough night of it against the number 1 seeded Michigan Wolverines, falling 76-58 in the Sweet 16. Daniel Dash, Michigan beat writer for SB Nation, describes how Michigan overcame Florida State's length.
A lot of what changed was Franz Wagner stepping up and becoming more of a playmaker than anything else. Last year as a freshman, he was really a spot-up three-point shooter. They kind of stashed him in the corner. But over the quarantine, he actually lived with Mo Wagner in Washington, D.C., and the brothers trained together, particularly on their ball handling. It opened so many doors for Michigan's offense, and I think that's really what allowed them to explode in tonight's second half.
The Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
How's it going? Oh, let me tell you how it's going. So far this year, I've broken my pinky toe, had a flat tire, and currently I'm trying to pass a kidney stone the size of Rhode Island.
Well, karma strikes again.
What?
Nothing. Oh, look, it's the first Crooks R Us survey of 2021. They're asking crooks like us to list the top reasons we avoid safe touch houses.
There's the crash and smash technology, the video monitoring.
Yeah, but what's number 1?
Gotta be the two-way communicator.
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah. The two-way communicator leads to verified alarms, which lead to faster response times, which are all very bad for us crooks.
Which all just circles back to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jack's Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
Have you seen it? The all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota is open, and they're ready to celebrate with big savings, even on pre-owned. Celebrate savings and hearing the words, "You're approved." That's right. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. Plus, if you want selection, Arlington's got it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, what are you waiting for? Celebrate with savings and come see the brand new facility at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Injuries on the job can cause you to lose control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Money is not coming in and your medical bills are piling up. Our legal team is here to help. We can help you file all your workers' compensation claims to make sure you get the proper benefits you're entitled to. If you've been injured on the job, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville. This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station. I'm Marshall. I'm a volunteer with the Florida Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Now more than ever during the pandemic, Florida long-term care residents deserve the best care and quality of life. I invite you to join me and hundreds of others in advocating on behalf of people who can't speak for themselves. Visit ombudsman.myflorida.com to join us today.
Welcome to Moe's and good morning at Moe's. In St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1, it's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Try it. You'll love it. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. They put the fast in breakfast. Made to order in the drive-thru. Try the Home Wrecker breakfast burrito. Your choice of bacon, chicken, or steak with scrambled eggs, shredded cheese, and seasoned potatoes. Served daily at 6 a.m. St. Augustine location only. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
Russell Wilson's agent, on the record, gave Shefty 4 teams Russell Wilson would like to play for. That is an important distinction in this conversation.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
If you notice, the people we signed either had some relationship with members of our coaching staff. You know, we signed a corner from Shaq from Seattle. We have a special teams coordinator and an offense coordinator from there. And I also knew a player that played with him in high school and grew up with him. And so we did as much homework. And I don't want to say put a lot of pressure, but I don't want people coming in this locker room that we don't at least have an idea of what they're all about. And that's going to be very important to me and obviously our coaching staff and organization. So we relied on as much intel, I called it, as we could. And the best intel are former players. Like I asked KJ Hill, I said, tell me about exactly what he's all about. And so he shared with me what he's like in practice and et cetera.
That is Urban Meyer with Peter King. He's done a lot to vet these guys out. It's fun to watch Urban Meyer with this process. Again, I don't really feel like we had a front row seat to Tom Coughlin doing this. You're
naming the same arena as Tom Coughlin. Like you're in the next county over.
Yeah, to Doug Marrone even. To any
the
offseason like this revealing.
Yeah.
And some of that, by the way, is the national attention that Urban Meyer brings. Like Peter King probably wasn't asking, hey, can you get Doug Marrone on? I mean, no disrespect to Doug, but I think people are trying to seek out this transition from college to the NFL with Urban, who's obviously one of the all-time winningest coaches in college. And so it makes a lot of sense. Plus, the notoriety that the Jags have with the number 1 pick with Trevor Lawrence. So all that adds up to be like, hey, we all get a sneak peek at this. And I just feel like, again, Urban's been very revealing. Only got a couple minutes left on the show here. ESPN690.com, by the way, for your Dream 18 golf card. Heading up on Masters Week. Got a little golf fever. Golf courses are filled. They're looking good. The weather's good. Go check it out. ESPN690.com for your Dream 18 card. Get some free stuff along the way. Don't forget to send in your Shock Your Mocks. Hashtag Shock Your Mock.
By the way, we got some DM activity now. People are going to my DMs with Shock Your Mock. It's not how we signed it up, but
whatever it takes.
If we get, I guess if we get low on ammo here, we can definitely use one of the DMs one as well.
All right, we won't get low. Local, loud coming up next on ESPN 690. I just want to finish up with these quarterbacks. Mac Jones is going to have pro day tomorrow. Justin Fields pro day tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, do these guys? Like, I didn't really feel. I know Zach Wilson wowed, Trevor Lawrence wowed. I just didn't feel like they were going to slide up or down. It's not maneuvering anybody. I might feel differently about Fields and Mac Jones. Like, I feel like Mac Jones may solidify himself at number 3 or make someone like Carolina say, hey, if he slips past 3, I'm going to go get him. Justin Fields, I don't know where he is in the mix now all of a sudden. And so I kind of feel like this might be a big pro day for Justin Fields. Am I overvaluing it?
I think you overvalue it a little bit because let's be honest. Mac Jones is the most accurate passer in college football. So, of course, he's going to go out there tomorrow and probably put up 50 of 50, right? It's going to be an A-plus effort. And what are we going to say? Yeah, he's accurate, but can he move around in the pocket? Is he a dual-threat guy or is he a system guy? And then from the other perspective, when we're talking about Justin Fields, once again, I think Fields goes out there and he kills it as well. I mean, that's what these pro days are set up to do. But what we can't see with Justin Fields is, can we simulate when it goes bad? Can we simulate when he starts to put pressure on himself and he makes us errant throws? You can't do that at the pro day because it's tailored for him to succeed. So I'll be honest with you. I learned nothing tomorrow from these guys.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I probably tend to agree with you. I just feel like the momentum, the narrative, now as we enter 1 month away from the draft, it's lost on Justin Fields. Like, I don't know where it is. Like, I don't know where it sits. It feels good about Mac.
Yeah.
Like, Mac feels like he's going to be a top 5 pick. Mm-hmm. Like, now, like, if you asked me to put my house on it, I thought a guy that could be all over the first round might be a top 5 pick for sure.
What do you think Justin Fields runs tomorrow on the 40? If he does run the 40.
Oh, I'd be a bad guess.
3.9 probably, 3.8 because he's running downhill.
Yes.
Because that's what Ohio State does. They cheat, get a Buckeye. You cheat, you get a Buckeye.
It's not Happy Valley.
What's Buckeyes. Where's the Buckeyes at, man?
Buckeyes waiting at the finish line.
Stole 4 of those bad boys. Where are they at? Right there. Stole 4 of them. Supposed to get 1.
Someday you're gonna
got 4 of them.
You're gonna have to explain yourself to Urban Meyer.
No, I didn't think about that. Yeah, put that down.
Someday you're gonna have to explain yourself.
Hey, you know what? I was skipping one of these right here. Put up the deuces instead.
We're going to deuces on a Monday. We'll be back at it 3 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN 690. Live, local, loud coming up next. We'll see you on TV as well. CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Life is complicated. We all know it, and all can use the proper support system. You know what else can be complicated? Owning a home. And that's why Rex was built to go beyond the simple real estate transaction. Full-service agents for buying and selling, mortgage services, insurance quotes, escrow and title, even home repair. All one call away. I guess you could call Rex your home support system and not a typical brokerage. Call 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. Want more? Of course you do.